Thir-six of the 36 8-diagram arrays. The most difficult escape the array of affection. Thir-six of the 36 8-diagram arrays. The most difficult one to escape from is that of affection. Everything has affection. All beings have affection, and affection is the rainbow and the best condiment of life. If the sky is affectionate, then the weather will be favorable. If the earth is affectionate, then the grain will be abundant. If people are affectionate, then life will be auspicious and warm. If things are affectionate, then spring forest will abound. Affection is like salt in food. With too little, it will taste dull. In excess, it will be too salty. But if in moderation, then and only then, its flavor will shine. Happy lives are not unfeeling, but must not be trapped in affection. To be unfeeling is worse than to be a beast, but to be trapped in affection is worse than death. Affection can nourish people, but it can also torture them. Once people are poisoned by affection, they will become perverted. They will act like neither humans nor ghosts, but will be unreasonable, hysterical, and maybe even lose their minds eventually. Sort out your mood as you lie in bed. What is the most worrying thing in your life? What has tormented you the most recently? What is the hardest thing for you to give up? What depresses you the most? What concerns you most deeply? What do you want to maintain the most? What do you want to end the most, but are unable to? The answers are always affection. The affection between immediate family members, lovers, friends, classmates, masters and apprentices, teachers and students, comrades in arms, and so forth. Any special relationship that you establish with anyone else will entangle you and might make you worry for your whole lifetime. It will wrap you tightly within it and make you restless for your entire lifetime. This is the array of affection. Can you escape from this array? The array of affection is also the net of affection. Look at fishing nets. People cast their nets into the water, and any fish that enter it and cannot escape will be yanked out of the water and become meals on people's plates. Standing in heaven and watching the world, everyone looks like fish in nets. Those who cannot escape from their nets will become delicacies on the devil's dining table. Do you want to escape from this net of affection? It is hard to do so on your own. To do this, you must rely on the power of authority and the guidance of gods, Buddhas, celestials, and saints, especially the divine powers of Jesus Christ and Buddha Shakyamuni, and the roadmap of the guide. There is very little chance of escaping from it if you try your own way blindly. The most difficult nets to escape are the parents' and children's nets. Who can abandon parents' and children's affection, and are they not monsters if they do? Would they still be human? So, if you do not rely on the power of authority, then you cannot and you will not escape. The second most difficult net is the one of couples' affection. Now, more and more people are not marrying, which means that they can escape from the nets of couples' affection. Many people escape from nets of couples' affection by divorcing. More couples who are sticking to it want to escape but are reluctant to leave or find it hard to escape. In this case, they need the roadmap of the guide even more. The next most difficult one are the lovers' nets between boyfriends and girlfriends, which are also nets of affection that make people enjoy each other so much as to not want to leave each other and be willing to go through fire and water and hurl themselves into flames willingly. Life's joys, sorrows, bitters, and sweets are induced fully in this net of affection, like raging fires moving the earth and frightening heaven. In these nets of affection, most people are unwilling to escape. They will even risk their lives, go to hell, and fight for victory in a flash moment. Even with their heads broken and bleeding, their livers and gallbladders smashed, they will fly desperately like moths into flames. As long as there are people with whom we care about, with whom we miss, and with whom we want to maintain our relationships, we are in an array of affection. Until the day when we have nothing to care or worry about, with our minds abiding nowhere, our affection filling mountains and rivers, when we always long for the celestial islands, take things as they are, associate with others by following predestined relationships, act in accordance with our natures, and take advantage of opportunities as they arise, then we will not have escaped from our net of affection. How will you feel after escaping from your array of affection? It will feel like a frog crawling out from the bottom of a well into a pond, a wild horse stuck in silt returning to a prairie, a bird flying out of a cage into an idyllic forest, or a pig jumping out a pig pen and becoming human. The easiest, most direct, effective, and thorough way to escape from an array of affection is to become a Chanyuan celestial and live in the new oasis for life. From then on, you will no longer establish any special relationship with anyone else, especially by establishing a special love relationship with a member of the opposite sex. From then on, you will follow what is predestined, be open, leave things to fate, be free and unfettered, and enjoy life whatever it brings. When the wind blows through a clump of scattered bamboo, it makes a swishing sound, but as soon as it passes, no sound is left behind and silence reigns itself once more among the bamboo plants. When geese fly over ponds in winter, their reflections are seen on the water, but as soon as they move on, their reflections vanish. Do not be nostalgic for that illusion and do not miss the passing clouds, but fix your eyes on the celestial islands of the Elysium world. Trek and climb. Enjoy the scenery all the way. Never stay and be obsessed with any beautiful scenery. Never let anyone impede your pace forward. Everything will work itself out and you will ascend to the fairy world as it happens. 8 diagram arrays. The array of affection. Thir-six. What in the world is affection? That it inspires beings to vow to accompany each other in life and death. Travelers flying together from south to north, their old wings enduring the cold and heat. Joy and sorrow, parting is painful. Among them, there are even more infatuated men and women. You should have something to say. Over 10,000 miles of layered clouds, 1,000 mountains with evening snow. For whom does the lone shadow depart? Yuan Haowin, Moyuer, Goose Mound Lyrics. First verse. What is affection? The weaver girl descends to the mortal world to marry the cowherd. The white snake transforms into Lady White to marry Su Xian. Meng Jiangnu travels thousands of miles to search for her husband and weeps at the Great Wall. Du Shenyang angrily sinks a treasure chest. Romeo willingly drinks poison. Zhu Yingtai willingly jumps into a grave. The stories depicted in books are just the tip of the iceberg. For thousands of years, the world has witnessed countless tragic stories of affection, where affection is so deep, it's like a cliff of broken hearts, and longing consumes the jade-like skin. In the end, the soul is shattered at the end of the world. Secret affairs, elopements to distant lands, sacrificing one's life for affection, dueling for affection, accumulating debts for affection, committing murder for affection. All these lead to chaos, destruction of homes, and the demise of people. What's the point of such fervent affection? Brilliance fades, regrets last a lifetime. Speechless before the heavens, only hatred and shame remain. Besides romantic affection between lovers and spouses, there is also affection between father and son, mother and daughter, father and daughter, mother and son, siblings, confidants, friends, comrades, classmates, masters and disciples, teachers and students, hometowns, etc. These constitute the web of human affections, the sea of affections, and the array of affections. Many people live and die for affection. Once affection is lost, people feel lost and aimless, wandering souls on the verge of collapse. What exactly is affection? That people vow to each other in life and death, suffer insomnia from lovesickness, persevere through countless hardships out of deep affection, spend their entire lives without regret, risk their lives in desperation, or engage in illegal activities. Affection is a kind of non-material energy that is embedded in the non-material structure of life to maintain harmony in family, society, fairyland, and humanity. Life must have affection. Without affection, life will perish. The greatest creators have affection. Celestial beings have affection, birds and beasts have affection, trees have affection, and even demons and monsters have affection. The more abundant and richer the affection, the closer it is to heaven. The more impoverished and barren the affection, the closer it is to hell. The broader the affection, the closer it is to heaven. The narrower the affection, the closer it is to hell. Affection is a series of 8 diagram arrays, with gods having divine affection, demons having demonic affection, celestials having celestial affection, humans having human affection, monsters having monster affection, ghosts having ghostly affection, beasts having beastly affection, birds having bird affection, trees having tree affection, grass having grass affection, and flowers having flower affection. Thus, it forms the levels and steps of life, the heavenly net, and the heavenly array, binding each level of life to thrive and flourish in their respective spaces, orderly and disciplined. Consciousness, structure, and energy are the three elements that constitute the universe. Nature, love, and Tao are the three great treasures of life. Nature is the characteristic of structure, love is the characteristic of energy, and Tao is the characteristic of consciousness. So, what about affection? Affection embodies all three characteristics of consciousness, structure, and energy. Affection not only has the components of consciousness and structure, but also contains the essence of energy. In other words, affection is the need of consciousness and structure, but its essence is a kind of energy, an essential non-material energy needed by consciousness and structure. Therefore, affection is closely related to nature, love, and Tao. As long as there is nature, there is affection. As long as there is love, there is affection. As long as there is Tao, there is affection. Conversely, without nature, there is no affection. Without love, there is no affection. Without Tao, there is no affection. For human life, affection is like salt. If affection is too weak, life is tasteless. If affection is too strong, life is bitter. To elevate oneself to celestial being, one must escape from the human affection array. Without escaping human affection, one cannot enter divine affection. Without entering divine affection, one cannot become a celestial being. How does one escape the human 8-diagram array? In short, abandon human affection and seek divine affection. Specifically, diminish parental affection, deepen the affection for the ancestor of Buddha, the greatest creator. Diminish the affection for siblings, friends, deepen the affection for the universe, all things in nature. Diminish the monogamous affection between men and women, deepen the predestined ethereal affection of the fairyland. Diminish the affection between master and disciple, teacher and student, deepen the affection for Tao, the truth. Theoretically, the richer and broader the affection, the more divine it is. The poorer and narrower the affection, the more human it is. In practice, the more relatives, the more divine affection. The more lovers, the more divine affection. The more beloved ones, the more divine affection. The more one loves mountains, rivers, and nature, the more divine affection. The more one cherishes all life, the more divine affection. The more one enjoys playing and having fun, the more divine affection. What is affection in the world? At this point, the answer is deeply affectionate, earnestly heartfelt. Mountains, rivers, and all things are loved by me. Heaven and earth merge with affection. Yin and yang unite, and the fairyland is born. Unending affection, not obsessed with affection. My affection pervades all. When my work is done, I will be fulfilled naturally. Beautiful ideals turn into reality. 36 8-diagram array. The array of belonging. Thir-six. Statements like, I am British, I belong to the Yamato people, I am a Christian, I am a member of the Nationalist Party, I work at Carrefour, I am of Asian descent, my family has 5 members, I belong to the Tiger zodiac sign, and so on express a sense of belonging for someone. Common characteristics of origin, similar distinguishing features, shared cultural traits, similar beliefs, identical pursuit of ideals, and resonant emotional features divide people into categories such as ethnic groups, nationalities, religious denominations, political parties, and social circles. People always seek a sense of belonging to something, feeling secure and grounded spiritually and psychologically. Everyone wants a home, a sense of belonging to a group. Otherwise, they feel unsettled, like lost souls adrift in the world, aimless like clouds drifting in the sky. Placing someone within a certain group, a particular circle, allows them to float within it unknowingly, forming what is called a belonging array. Nations, ethnicities, races, political parties, religions, groups, companies, homes, families, and more constitute the belonging array. Every person, whether willingly or not, is part of the belonging array. Humans inherently belong to the global citizenry. If we see the Earth as a ship drifting in the Milky Way galaxy, then regardless of who we are, we're all on the same ship and should cooperate. But due to the belonging array, people engage in conflicts, killings, and struggles, turning life into a bloody drama, disrupting the harmony of existence. Once people enter the belonging array, they become selfish. For their country, they are willing to sacrifice themselves on the battlefield. For their ethnicity, they are prepared to lay down their lives. For their religion, they are ready to embark on crusades. For their political party, they engage in verbal and physical battles. For their group, they manipulate and monopolize resources in the shadows. For their family, they crush human nature. For their home, they take risks and break laws. For their species, they mistreat and slaughter others. People always seek a sense of belonging, willingly defending the interests of their country, ethnicity, political party, religion, group, family, and home. For this reason, they always look for a circle, establish families, create networks of relationships, and form social organizations, even if it means joining beggar gangs, criminal syndicates, or theft rings, just to belong to some group. This is the belonging array. The vast majority of human beings float and sink within it throughout their lives, unable to escape this 8-diagram array. This is a game in the human world, a game that makes people oblivious to the script, maintaining and upholding the existence, value, and function of the transit station in the hierarchical space of humanity. Otherwise, if everyone awakened and became divine, the evolutionary chain of life would form a fracture, and the entire dynamic balance of the universe's life would be disrupted. Creating a sense of belonging can make people short-sighted, narrow-minded, selfish, and keep them trapped in the human world. Otherwise, if everyone were to awaken and ascend to divinity, the evolutionary levels of life would form a fault line, a fracture zone. This would disrupt the ability to implement corresponding punishments for higher-level life forms and appropriate rewards for lower-level life forms. Escaping from the bondages of the 3 realms and 5 elements. To escape the human world and enter heaven, one must escape the belonging array, or else they cannot reach heaven. How can one escape the belonging array? View oneself as a citizen of the earth, not belonging to any country, ethnicity, political party, religion, group, or family. Don't engage in the small family life program. Instead, serve the entire earth and humanity, rather than serving any one country, political party, religion, ethnicity, family, or group. In this way, our mind will expand, life will ascend, our soul will gradually perfect, and our consciousness will become pure and orderly. In this way, the frequency of our minds will resonate with the frequency of the minds of the celestial beings of the 1,000-year world. Imagine the 1,000-year world, which is 10 times larger than Earth, with 200 million celestial beings living there. There are no countries, political parties, religions, families, or interest groups. Everyone enjoys resources equally, without any fighting, killing, snatching, grabbing, oppression, exploitation, or conflicts. Everyone is happy, joyful, free, and blissful because there is no belonging array there. 6 8-diagram array. The array of thinking. Xiefeng. 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. Can 1 plus 1 equal 0, 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? This is a matter of thinking, or rather, a matter of cognitive ability. What is the relationship between an elephant and a stone? In the usual sense, there isn't much of a relationship between an elephant and a stone. However, in the well-known story, Chow Chong weighs an elephant. Chow Chow's 7-year-old son established a corresponding relationship between an elephant's weight and a stone using a boat as a medium, easily solving the problem of the elephant's weight. This is thinking. The method by which the ancient Greek philosopher, mathematician, and physicist Archimedes determined whether a crown was counterfeit is also a good example of understanding and exploring thinking. How can an ant freely climb from one surface to the other side of the same surface without going through a hole or climbing over an edge? Conventional thinking cannot find a solution. Only unconventional thinking with a Mobius strip can achieve this. The level of a person's intelligence is mainly reflected in their ability to think. It can be said that with stronger thinking ability comes a higher level of life. With weaker thinking ability comes a lower level of life. The stronger the thinking ability, the closer it is to a higher level of life. The weaker the thinking ability, the closer it is to a lower level of life. Clearly, the thinking ability of plants is lower than that of animals. The thinking ability of animals is lower than that of humans. The thinking ability of humans is lower than that of celestials and Buddhas. The thinking ability of celestials and Buddhas is lower than that of gods, and the thinking ability of gods is lower than that of the greatest creator. Therefore, I summarize thinking ability into 8 levels: material thinking, image thinking, associative thinking, elusive thinking, visualized thinking, Tai Chi thinking, formless thinking, and holographic thinking, with each level higher than the last. So, what is thinking? Thinking is the dimension and process of thought, pondering, and contemplation. The broader and deeper the dimension of thought, the stronger the ability to analyze, summarize, synthesize, reason, judge, infer, and find solutions to problems. Thinking is related to dimensionality. The thinking of a caterpillar is limited to the two-dimensional world, so its thinking ability is low. The thinking of plants is limited to the static three-dimensional world, so their thinking ability is lower than that of animals whose thinking is limited to the dynamic three-dimensional world. Birds live in four-dimensional space-time, so they are freer than land animals. Humans exist in the three-dimensional world, but because of their rich imagination, they can extend sensory knowledge into the realm of reason, so their thinking ability is stronger than that of birds. Celestials live in a world of 4 dimensions or more, so they are higher life forms than humans. Buddhas and gods traverse the 36-dimensional spaces, and their thinking ability is unimaginable. The greatest creator lives in holography, and his thinking ability is beyond imagination. It is inscrutable. When thinking ability is low, one can appear very foolish and stupid. When humans observe animals, they often perceive them as incredibly stupid. Similarly, when celestials observe humans, they also find them to be incredibly foolish. For instance, humans have been struggling within the confines of the institution of marriage and family for thousands of years. Why not change their way of life? Humans can indeed seem incredibly stupid. Human suffering and distress stem from consciousness, with thinking being a primary component of consciousness. To alleviate the suffering and distress rooted in consciousness, one must diligently work on their thinking. This involves transforming the way we think, expanding the scope of our thinking, and breaking free from the constraints of conventional thinking to think creatively. Otherwise, suffering and distress will persist endlessly, confining all levels, types, and layers of life within certain dimensions, such that their thinking cannot transcend the space-time of their existence, thereby presenting the wonderful diversity and maintaining the orderly hierarchy of life, is what constitutes the array of thinking. In order to elevate the quality of life, to venture into higher dimensional spaces of life and live freely, it is essential to break free from the constraints of original thinking, not to adhere rigidly to established rules, and to understand that nothing is impossible. There are only things that are beyond imagination and beyond the reach of one's thinking ability. The miracles presented by Jesus are beyond our imagination, beyond our ability of thinking. This is the difference in thinking between humans and gods. The super-celestial beings of the Elysium Celestial Islands continent are capable of performing 64 kinds of divine abilities and can transform all things at will. This is something that we, with our limited thinking abilities, cannot fully comprehend. So, how does one break free from the array of thinking? The answer is that it's impossible to completely escape the array of thinking. The only solution is to elevate our lower-level thinking to a higher level. As humans, if we think, ponder, and contemplate with the thinking of celestials, discard our human thinking, then we can escape the thinking array granted to human and enter the world of celestials. Then the pain and troubles associated with being human will disappear. The following 8 points can help people escape from the array of thinking for human and enter the thinking realm of celestial and Buddha. Thoroughly understand the principles and reincarnation mysteries of life, and realize that life is not extinguished, only transformed. So do not fear death. Instead, consider it the greatest good. Escape from the time array, find the true self, and view the self who acts as an actor in the script as a play, a dream. Frequently let consciousness enter the 1,000-year world, the 10,000-year world, the Elysium Celestial Islands continent, imitating and emulating the way of life and thinking of celestials. Strengthen visualized thinking, frequently and freely imagining beautiful things, scenes, and people. Escape from the heart array, desire array, affection array, ethical relation array, belonging array, and wisdom array. Live by one's nature. Do not take one's kind as the reference object. Do not always consider oneself as human in consciousness. Do not believe there are no solutions to difficult problems. Do not think in terms of conventional thinking when considering problems. Do not be afraid to think freely as bound by traditional moral preaching and scientific knowledge. Do not be influenced and restricted by one's appearance, gender, race, physique, culture, environment, etc., and dare not enter the micro and macro worlds. Do not think that without wings one cannot fly. Do not think that without eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and body, one cannot eat, drink, excrete, sleep. Fully understand and comprehend that all phenomena are illusory. Emptiness is not different from form, and form is not different from emptiness. Consciousness creates reality, and time and space cannot block consciousness. Act according to one's nature. Here, nature refers to the nature of the Tathagata. 6 8 diagram arrays. The array of desire. Thir-six. The more you eat, the more you crave. The more you sleep, the lazier you become. The more you steal, the itchier your hands get. The more you gamble, the more avaricious your heart becomes. Habits become second nature, and this second nature obscures our true nature. Things always naturally develop in the direction of habitual tendencies, and in the end, we lose control, sinking deeper and deeper, making it difficult to escape. Everything can become addictive. Smoking, drinking, eating meat, using drugs, gaming, seeking pleasure, making money, fighting, holding positions of authority, frequenting bars, even using the internet. Negative emotions like jealousy, resentment, comparison, criticism, blame, lies, laziness, selfishness, greed, and arrogance can also become addictive. Once a person becomes negative and develops an unhealthy psyche, pessimism becomes the theme of their life. They may become isolated, obstinate, stubborn, rigid, and eventually suffer from depression. Why does this happen? This is due to the 8 diagram array set up to maintain a certain number of lives in each level of existence. It is called the array of desire. It is like a nose ring on a bull, leading people back and forth in the desire array, making it impossible to escape from a certain space of life. There are 8 major desires: appetite, affection, sexual, desire, desire for pleasure, material desire, desire for reputation, desire for life, desire for possession, control, and desire for excellence. These 8 desires form the desire array. Normal needs are not considered desires. Anything beyond normal needs is considered a desire. For example, constantly craving delicious food, indulging in delicacies, is called desire for food. Constantly thinking about establishing emotional relationships with someone or constantly fantasizing about sexual relationships with different people, rather than going with the flow, is desire for affection or sex. Always seeking leisure activities or indulging in comfort is desire for pleasure. Working tirelessly to earn money to buy property, land, goods, and equipment is material desire. Going to great lengths to maintain a good reputation is desire for reputation. Taking extreme measures for health, consuming supplements, practicing meditation, and living in a state of intoxicated oblivion is desire for life. Racking one's brains to control resources, people, or positions is desire for possession. Striving with every nerve, enduring hardships to stand out from the crowd, seeking magical powers or supernatural abilities to make others envious, is desire for excellence. Once trapped in the desire array formed by the 8 major desires, one's life becomes one of suffering, without hope or a bright future. It's a life destined for pain, exhaustion, frequent disappointments, and without the joy, happiness, freedom, and bliss one desires. It's a life destined to float and sink in the cycle of reincarnation. How to escape the desire array? Follow the way of the greatest creator. Follow the way of nature. Regarding food, take things as they are, eat until you're full, don't deliberately pursue taste at the expense of slaughtering animals. Regarding love and sexual desire, associate with others by following naturally come-and-go relations, don't pursue it deliberately, nor avoid it deliberately. Regarding pleasure, take advantage of opportunities as they arise, avoid high-end pleasures that waste energy and money as much as possible. Regarding material pursuits, be content with what you have. Prioritize simplicity and practicality, avoid extravagance and excessive possession. Regarding reputation, Don't seek lasting fame or infamy. Let things happen naturally. Don't worry too much about people's opinions and judgments. Just keep your conscience and morals intact. Regarding health and life and death, leave your life to the greatest creator's arrangement. Let your life be governed by Tao. Don't deliberately focus on health. Accept life and death as fate, neither craving life nor fearing death. Regarding possession and control, the more you have, the more worries you'll have. The more you control, the more mental labor you'll have. It's better to pursue the state of possessing nothing yet owning everything, to feel content no matter where you are or what you are doing. Regarding excellence, act according to your nature. Everything is born, grows, is punished, and is finally exterminated by nature. Everything is under the arrangement and running of Tao. Don't pursue excellence excessively. If you don't have a good singing voice, trying to excel in singing will be futile. Just express your talents and personality to the fullest. Why bother pursuing excellence? Once you escape the desire array, the world will be vast and boundless. Without desire, you can fulfill desires. Without selfishness, you can fulfill selfishness. 36 8-diagram arrays. The array of destiny, the occurrence, development, transition, and extinction of everything and every phenomenon in the world all have a destiny. The Earth's year is 365 days, 5 hours, 48 minutes, and 46 seconds. This is a destiny. The mass of the Sun is 1.989 times 10 to the power of 27 tons. The mass of the Earth is approximately 9.89 times 10 to the power of 21 tons, and the mass of the Moon is about 7.35 times 10 to the power of 22 tons. These are also destiny. A person has 2 eyes, 1 mouth, 1 head, and 2 legs. The human body has 206 bones, and the heart beats 2.5 to 3 billion times in a lifetime. The normal pH of the human body is 7.35 to 7.45, and the normal body temperature averages between 36 and 37 degrees Celsius, underarm. Normal blood pressure is 140 millimeters of mercury, 18.6 kilopascals, systolic, and 90 millimeters of mercury, 12 kilopascals, diastolic. There is a specific size, quantity, and distance ratio between each organ in the human body. These are all destinies. Everything has a limit. Exceeding the limit will cause a qualitative change, or in other words, everything has a certain proportion or degree, and exceeding that proportion or degree will inevitably lead to the opposite. When water is poured into a container, there is definitely a moment when it is full. When eating, there is always a moment when you cannot eat anymore. A camel can only carry a certain weight. Beyond the maximum load, a straw can break the camel's back. A metal rod is very hard, but if continuously struck at a certain fixed point, it will eventually break. Everything has a destiny. This is the law of the universe. Regarding human life, the same law of everything having a destiny also applies. The number of teeth a person should have, the number of hairs, the number of sweat glands are all destinies. When a person is born, when teeth grow, when puberty starts, when aging begins, when death occurs, these are all destinies. It takes 21 days for a chicken to hatch eggs, and humans give birth after 10 months of pregnancy. This is a destiny. We know weather forecasts can predict the weather. This itself proves that everything has a destiny. If there were no destinies, it would be impossible to forecast the weather for the next few days, even impossible for a few hours. Throughout human history, some people have been able to predict the future changes of the world, which also proves that everything has a destiny. Before the discovery of some chemical elements, Mendeleev arranged the periodic table of elements and predicted the existence of other elements that had not yet been discovered. This means that everything has a destiny, a law, and a rule. So, how long a person can live in their lifetime, what diseases they will get, when they will get better or worse, what kind of people they will meet in their lifetime, what conflicts they will have with others, what blessings and sufferings they will experience, what kind of hardships they will endure, and even what kind of work they will do, are all destinies that cannot be escaped. This is also the truth summarized by the ancients. What is meant to be will always find a way. What is not meant to be cannot be forced. Giving everything a certain destiny allows them to grow, decline, change, and transit within a certain destiny, thus maintaining the orderly operation of the world, which is the destiny array. Without the destiny array, the Earth would run out of the solar system, tigers would grow wings, mice would be bigger than cows, people could drink the Pacific Ocean in one gulp, some people would live for tens of thousands of years on Earth, and seasons would not change periodically. The destiny array is a constraint. Confining everything within a certain range, proportion, or degree is the function, value, and significance of the destiny array. If one does not escape the destiny array, as a human, they will inevitably continue to cycle within a certain domain of life. So, how can one escape the destiny array? Grafting apples onto cold-resistant pear trees produced apple pears. A common iron rod becomes magnetic and directional after magnetization. Ordinary iron, when carbon is added, carbonization, becomes alloy steel, greatly improving its strength, hardness, toughness, and plasticity. Saccharin and sweet wine, chestnuts and duck meat, persimmons and crabs, shrimp shells and red dates combined into food become toxic. Morphine, derived from the opium poppy, reacts with acetic anhydride to undergo esterification, resulting in the formation of its diacetyl derivative, which is the notorious drug heroin. When the nature of things changes, their destinies change accordingly. The key to escaping the destiny array is to replace human consciousness with celestial consciousness. After the replacement, the destinies as a human end, and the destinies as a celestial being begin. 8 diagram arrays. The array of ethical relations. Thir-six. Ethical relations refers to the relationships established between individuals based on various factors such as generation, status, seniority, gender, and degree of kinship. These relationships include those between grandparents and grandchildren, parents and children, spouses, siblings, uncles and nephews, aunts and nieces, in-laws, rulers and subjects, superiors and subordinates, leaders and followers, employers and employees, masters and disciples, teachers and students, and so on. Various roles in society, such as the president, vice president, secretary of state, prime minister, ministers, governors, mayors, county magistrates, bureau chiefs, section chiefs, town chiefs, village chiefs, and ordinary people, form a hierarchical array. Similarly, roles in a corporation like chairman, CEOs, managers, team leaders, and staff members form another array. In religious contexts, the Pope, cardinals, bishops, priests, monks, and believers form yet another array. In a family context, relationships between grandparents, parents, children, and grandchildren form an array. From these principles, we derive a network of relationships. Familial relationships, relationships with nature and society, relationships among divine beings, ethical human relationships, moral norms, ethical principles, order of relationships, sequence, order, structure, generational relationships, matching relationships, party relationships, military relationships, relationship charts, quality of relationships, noble relationships, prestigious relationships, tribal relationships, material relationships, experiential relationships, quality of relationships, intimate relationships, listed relationships, peer relationships, and so on, forming a network of relationships. Ethical relations uphold the order in human society, establishing a clear hierarchy and maintaining orderliness among individuals based on mutual respect and deference. Every individual, regardless of who they are, navigates their life within this matrix of ethical relations embedded in this intricate web of interpersonal relationships. Should anyone breach these ethical relations, they will face the punitive consequences of this ethical matrix. Such transgressions may include violating norms and ethics, disrupting societal relations, disregarding moral principles, or behaving worse than beasts, resulting in a moral torment or societal condemnation. By binding individuals within these ethical relations, people are provided with guidelines to follow, preventing chaos and disorder. However, being trapped within these ethical relations, individuals become ensnared in a perpetual cycle of life and death, unable to escape the inevitable realm of existence. They are also unable to escape the confines of the territories of different qualities of life. For instance, the influence of parental relations within the ethical array is so profound that it becomes difficult for individuals to escape. Similarly, marital relations within the ethical array constitute a significant portion of one's life. meaning that half of one's happiness or misery is created by their spouse. Once interpersonal relationships are established among individuals, they inevitably come under their influence. Aspects such as consciousness, thought, emotion, spirit, lifestyle, daily routine, diet, ideology, and so on, are unable to form an independent and complete personality and self-system. They cannot achieve harmony. The entire operation of human society is constituted by the array of ethical relations. To transcend to a celestial state, to escape the confines of the realm of necessity and enter the realm of freedom, one must escape the ethical array. Buddha said, all sentient beings are equal, but within the ethical array, equality among sentient beings is difficult to achieve. The reality of life cycle of reincarnation tells us that the ethical relationships between individuals in this life differ greatly from those in past and future lives. One's grandmother from a past life may become their daughter in this life. Their wife in this life may become their mother in the next life. Their children in this life may have been enemies in a past life. And someone who helped them in this life may have been their dog in their past life. The relationships between people, what are they exactly? If we limit our understanding of relationships to the present moment, everything seems clear. But if we expand our understanding to encompass a broader span of time and space, everything becomes confusing and difficult to discern. It's quite troublesome, quite complex. It's a headache. It's better to treat everyone equally and love all sentient beings. How to escape the ethical array. Cultivate independent consciousness. Cultivate a complete personality. Follow the laws of life and existence according to the will of the ancestor of Buddha, the greatest creator. Heed the teachings of Christ Jesus, Buddha Shakyamuni, and the celestial Laozi. Establish moral guidelines for a happy, joyful, free, and blessed life. Regardless of who you are, as long as you can make me happy, joyful, free, and blessed, I'll play with you. Otherwise, I won't. Regardless of who you are, as long as you can help my life ascend to the realm of freedom and reach heaven, I'll play games with you. Otherwise, goodbye. However, one must still fulfill their responsibilities and obligations and repay their debts. 36 8 Diagram Arrays. The Array of Fate. Xiefeng. Translation edited by Qin Yu. When a person is born into this world, known as the human world, it seems as though everything has already been arranged, with little room for personal choice. Factors such as one's parents, birth date and time, family environment, era of birth, gender, appearance, talents, temperament, race, region, siblings, and more are predetermined. Throughout life, the type of education one receives, the profession one pursues, the people one encounters, the life's twists and turns, whether one falls ill and what illnesses one suffers from, how much wealth one accumulates, what level of fame and status one achieves, how much suffering and joy one experiences. All these seem predetermined. In youth, one might believe that they can determine these things through their own efforts. However, as one grows older, they may realize that many things seem to have been predestined, and they are simply drifting along with the current of fate. Even one's aging, death, and the manner of death seem beyond one's control, not to mention what happens after death. This is the essence of the fate array. The fate array represents the predetermined aspects of one's life, the karmic arrangements made by the Tao based on each person's past life genetic information, a one-time comprehensive assessment of one's past merits and misdeeds. Things in this life that one cannot choose or control are the karmic results of one's past deeds, that is, the cause of the past life and the fruit of this life. From the moment of birth, individuals are ensnared in the web of the fate array. No matter how hard one strives or struggles, it's difficult to escape their influence. Want to choose different parents? Alter your gender, birth time, or location? Change your inherent nature? It's simply impossible. All choices are off the table. Of all the arrays within the 36 8 diagram arrays, the fate array is the most intricate and the most challenging to break free from, as it dictates much of one's life from the moment of birth, making it absolutely impossible to change. In the face of the fate array, all we can do is accept and bear our fate. Any resentment or resistance is futile, only serving to breed further anguish and sorrow. Accept your fate. With this life's fate array already set, individuals can only strive to influence their next life's fate array. Each person's fate array is unique and is entirely determined by their own spiritual cultivation. The fate array for one's next life is entirely within one's own control and choice. However, if one continues to live in a state of confusion, the fate array for the next life will likely not differ significantly from the current one, leading to yet another cycle of reincarnation. If one remains in a state of perpetual confusion, the cycle of reincarnation will continue indefinitely. Understanding the fate array and its roots, awakening to their implications is crucial. Without such awareness, individuals risk squandering their precious lives. Once on the wrong path, escaping the ensuing cycle of suffering and sorrow will require considerable effort. How does one break free from the current life's sorrowful fate array and enter a joyful one in the next life? This is a monumental task, involving macroscopic elements such as faith, beliefs, morality, ideals, values, outlook on life and life, worldview, as well as microscopic elements such as every word, action, thought, and intention. There are no shortcuts, no strokes of luck, only a solid, incremental approach. From the perspective of Life-Genuine values, it involves transcending the human fate array and entering the celestial one. Specifically, it means revering the greatest creator, revering life, revering nature, following the path of the greatest creator, adhering to and upholding the 800 values for new era human, repaying all your debts from all your past lives and accumulating treasures in heaven by creating the Life-Genuine era for humanity. Simultaneously, it entails gradually disengaging from human society and entering the realm of celestial, fundamentally transforming one's values, outlook on life and life, worldview, and continuously replacing human consciousness with celestial consciousness. The foundation for all of this lies in building one's soul garden, removing the weeds of passive, negative, and pessimistic emotions such as jealousy, resentment, comparison, anger, hatred, condemnation, laziness, selfishness, greed, arrogance, hostility, infatuation, attachment, rigidity, stubbornness, cruelty, and fostering the growth of active, positive, and optimistic qualities such as truth, goodness, beauty, love, faith, sincerity, tranquility, and harmony. The simpler something appears, the more complex it is, and vice versa. While the origins of fate array and the endeavor to break free from their constraints are exceedingly complex when analyzed theoretically, the path forward can be distilled into a single concept: follow the way of the greatest creator. 36 8-diagram arrays. The array of heart. Thir-six. The heart and the physical heart are two entirely distinct concepts. The physical heart is a part of the body's organs, existing in the physical realm. But what about the heart as a concept? What exactly is it, and where does it reside? Let's first look at 4 sets of descriptions about the heart. Deeply grieved, heartrending, tormented, utterly heartbroken, deeply distressed, mind in turmoil, heart shattered, restless, agitated, harboring ulterior motives, disheartened, mentally distracted, restless mind, lingering fear. With a light heart, heart surging like waves, heart longing for far-off places, willing and content, heart blooming like flowers, clear-minded, intuitively understanding. At peace with oneself, calm and composed, heart filled with satisfaction, open-hearted, change of heart, hearts in harmony, wholeheartedly convinced. There are also phrases like, hearts are in tune. The size of the universe is determined by the breadth of one's heart. You gallop across the sea of my heart. From the above descriptions of the heart, it appears that people are the heart, and the heart is the person. When the heart is like dead ashes, the person also loses vitality and is no different from death. Nothing is more lamentable than a dead heart. When the heart dies, so does the person. What exactly is the heart? Where does it reside? What role does the heart play in human life? In essence, the heart does not exist. Humans fundamentally do not possess a heart. The heart is merely an 8-diagram array. People are entangled in the 8-diagram of the heart and thought that they have a heart, unaware that they are being bound by this heart array. Buddha Shakyamuni, who possessed supreme authentic wisdom, told us, "The past mind cannot be grasped, the present mind cannot be grasped, and the future mind cannot be grasped." The mind is fundamentally non-existent. Where can it be obtained? People are often beguiled by their hearts, oscillating between states of heartbreak and heart blossoming, between heart in turmoil and calm heart, between bewildered heart and clear-minded heart, between heart like dead ashes and refreshed heart. They find themselves completely played by the whims of their hearts. In spiritual practice, there is the saying of the mind is influenced by circumstances for ordinary people, and the mind influences circumstances for enlightened beings. In reality, the mind influencing circumstances is passive, futile, and inconclusive. Circumstances are endlessly changing, rising and falling in succession. Relying on the mind is never reliable. The heart is inherently empty, inherently non-existent, so how can it be relied upon? Once trapped in the heart's 8-diagram array, a person's life becomes bewildered, guided by the heart in search of sincerity, loyalty, honesty, and dedication, while guarding against deception, treachery, greed, and fickleness. The result is confusion, suffering, heart turmoil, and physical and mental exhaustion. In romantic relationships, the biggest fear is fickleness, and the pursuit is a complete heart. Once one discovers the other's fickleness, neither food nor sleep brings comfort. From this, jealousy, resentment, anger, and competition swarm in, stirring life into a whirlwind of chaos and conflict, causing unbearable heartache. The heart belongs to the person. If a person is without a heart, they become a celestial being or a Buddha. The heart is an 8-diagram array. By escaping from the 8-diagram array of the heart, one can escape from all the joys and sorrows, the comings and goings of human life, and enter into a beautiful and boundless paradise. How can one escape the heart array? The Buddha Shakyamuni taught us, one should produce a mind that abides nowhere and does not abide in forms to produce a mind, does not abide in sounds, smells, tastes, touch, or dharmas to produce a mind, and should produce a mind that abides nowhere. In other words, discard the heart and become a person without a heart. Saint Laozi told us, favor and disgrace would seem equally to be feared, honor and great calamity to be regarded as personal conditions of the same kind. What makes me liable to great calamity is my having the body, which I call myself. If I had not the body, what great calamity could come to me? This can also be extended to the heart. Heartbreak and heartache occur because we have a heart. If we have no heart, where does the heartbreak and heartache come from? Can one still live without a heart? Yes, it depends on the power of our thinking. If our thinking power is high, we live. If our thinking power is low, we die. Prime Minister Bygone in the Investiture of the Gods was originally living well, but was suddenly controlled by the words, "Cabbages have no heart but can live. People without a heart must die," from Su Daji, and immediately died from shock. Without a heart, how does one live? By living out one's nature. The Buddha is the nature, and the nature is the Buddha. Living out one's nature is living as a Buddha, living as celestial, being completely free. 36 8-diagram arrays. The array of indulgence. Xiefeng. All humans possess a degree of laziness, seeking comfort and indulgence, even to the point of extravagance and debauchery. Ultimately, when things reach an extreme, they reverse, returning to poverty and humility, completing a cycle of transitioning from poverty to wealth, from wealth back to poverty, from lowliness to nobility, and from nobility back to lowliness. This is the indulgence array. Humans are capable of striving, but when are they most likely to strive? The answer: when they are poor and humble. Humans are capable of falling, but when are they most likely to fall? The answer: when they are rich and noble. 98% of humanity finds it difficult to escape the indulgence array. Examples of those who have not been able to escape the indulgence array, from ancient to modern times, are countless and as vast as the ocean. From the downfall of a prosperous civilization to the decline of a thriving nation, from the prosperity of a family business to the corruption and decadence of a prominent figure. Though the lessons are profound, people still follow one after another. This demonstrates the formidable power of the indulgence array. Without maintaining a clear mind and adhering to one's original intentions, no one can escape the indulgence array. Everyone can introspect. When we make some progress, do we begin to cultivate feelings of pride and complacency? When we become slightly affluent, do we already start to crave enjoyment and comfort? When we receive praise and admiration for our merit from those around us, do we start to feel a bit dizzy and lose our direction? When we attain some status and power, does our inner self no longer remain humble and cautious, but instead reveal arrogance and dominance in our words and actions? With even a little gain, we become arrogant. With a little comfort, we stop striving. With a little accumulation, we become corrupted. With a little elevation, we think we have grasped the truth. Humans are so narrow-minded, so incredible, so hopeless, and so base yet difficult to reform. It is easy to go from frugality to extravagance, but difficult to go from extravagance to frugality, because the indulgence array is at work. During the Three Kingdoms period, Zhou Yu of Eastern Wu planned to lure Liu Bei of Shu into marriage with the luxurious life of Eastern Wu. If not for the superior strategies of Zhuge Liang of Shu, Liu Bei would have fallen into the indulgence array and suffered a setback. During the journey to the west to obtain Buddhist scriptures, if not for the unwavering will of Tang monk, reaching the holy mountain to obtain the scriptures would have been difficult. Look at the decline of the ancient Roman Empire. After the founding of Rome, the slave-owning class liberated themselves from physical labor through slaves. However, at this time, they were not thinking about the prospects of the republic or the empire, let alone becoming a philosopher king. Instead, they were engrossed in money and power struggles. When the ruling class fell into a situation they could not extricate themselves from, and the elites of the era did not think about problems from a historical perspective, the empire not only lost the driving force to create a new civilization, but also foreshadowed the decline of the empire. The eyes of the rich only focus on gold, and due to their luxurious lifestyles, they are like moldy pockets that have worn out and can no longer hold wisdom, frankness, and loyalty. As the upper-class society continued to decay, with the end of the Republic, a large number of new people, who became rich through commerce, entered the Senate, and the number of aristocrats who were both officials and businessmen increased. Therefore, political power was drawn into the circulation field from various different channels, and the destruction of the legal system began from here. Columella also said, "We often enjoy excessive banquets. We even use steam baths to make ourselves sweat profusely in order to eliminate the indigestion brought about by overeating every day. After drying our sweaty bodies, we will feel unbearably thirsty and think about banquets again." Looking at the increase in holidays, during the time of Augustus, there were only 66 holidays according to the calendar. This increased to 87 days during Tiberius. In the mid-4th century, it unprecedentedly increased to 175 days. Excessive extravagance in material life consumes resources, corrupts the ruling class, poisons social customs, and fundamentally destroys the spirit on which the Roman Empire was founded and progressed, which is no different from pulling the firewood from under the pot for civilization. If we forget the scene of the fall of ancient Rome due to its ancient age, then we should still remember the Taiping Heavenly Kingdom movement that occurred in China 160 years ago. Why did the Taiping Heavenly Kingdom fall? The answer: because it did not escape the indulgence array. The decline of civilizations, empires, nations, companies, and other phenomena, organizations, and groups is actually the decline of human nature, the result of humans seeking comfort, extravagance, and indulgence. It is an inevitable cycle caused by not escaping the indulgence array. As practitioners who have embarked on the path of the greatest creator, if we do not escape the indulgence array, the end result will still be the abandonment of previous efforts and a return to the cycle. Life Genuine has already created a paradise on earth, the second home, a secluded utopia. Every Life Genuine member should remember their original intentions. The more superior the environment and conditions, the more diligent, thrifty, modest, and cautious one should be. There should be no room for laziness, waste, or extravagance, let alone indulging in comfort and pleasure leading to corruption and decadence. Spiritual and mental enjoyment should be maximized, but material enjoyment should be limited. This limitation cannot be ensured by regulations, but must be maintained by adhering to the values of Life Genuine and each member's voluntary efforts to build their soul garden. If a Life Genuine member is petty about what they eat, selective about where they live, wasteful about what they wear, extravagant about how they travel and communicate, lazy and sloppy in their work, and receives more from the home than they contribute, and does not put effort into improving the non-material structure of their life daily, but instead thinks about freedom and even promiscuity in love and sex, they have already embarked on the path of seeking comfort and falling into corruption and decadence. This is what worries me the most. Without escaping the indulgence array, the beautiful utopia of the second home will be short-lived and eventually fade away, making it difficult to create a beautiful new life model for humanity. Without escaping the indulgence array, we cannot realize the ultimate ideal of going to heaven. How to escape the indulgence array? Apart from adhering to the 800 values for New Era Human and building one's own soul garden as soon as possible, there is no other way. 36 8-diagram arrays. The array of instinct. Thir-six. The innate survival ability that individuals naturally exhibit without any thought, learning, practice, experience, or simulation, according to the program set by the greatest creator, is instinct. Examples include bees making honey, birds building nests, hens hatching eggs, spiders spinning webs, migratory birds migrating, lambs nursing, butterflies emerging from cocoons, mice digging holes, roosters crowing, cats catching mice, doves courting, peach trees blossoming, pear trees bearing fruit, mimosa pudica curling leaves, animals fleeing, and so on. Instinct is the innate ability that the greatest creator bestows upon various levels and types of life to maintain their own survival and reproduction. The process of directing various levels and types of life to instinctively maintain their own survival and reproduction according to a set program is called the instinct array. Humans have three major instincts: physiological instincts, mental instincts, and spiritual instincts. Physiological instinct is the instinct for survival, mainly manifested in the instinctive need to eat, drink, sleep, have sex, and in the instinctive reactions of fear, resistance, and evasion. Mental instinct is the instinct for desire, mainly manifested in the instinctive pursuit of romantic love, friendship, sex, domination, possession, wealth accumulation, elevation, and consolidation of status and reputation. Spiritual instinct is the instinct for eternal life, primarily manifested in the fear of death and the desire for immortality. The lower the level of life, the stronger the instinct. The higher the level of life, the weaker the instinct. Lower-level life forms depend more on instinct for survival, while higher-level life forms rely more on spontaneous ability to live. Bacteria and microorganisms rely entirely on instinct for survival, as do plants. Insects primarily rely on instinct for survival. Animals mainly rely on instinct for survival, but also begin to apply thought, experience, and emotion. Humans rely on both instinct and experience, thinking, emotions, and spontaneous ability to survive and live, while celestial beings rely mainly on spontaneous ability to live, and super-celestial beings completely transcend instinct and rely on self-awareness to live. Instinct serves as both protection and constraint for life. Because of protection, life naturally possesses the ability to survive. Because of constraint, life finds it difficult to transcend its own kind and ascend to a higher level of life. This is the value and significance of the instinct array. Without escaping the instinct array, life finds it difficult to ascend to a higher level of existence. To escape the cycle of one's own life form and become a celestial being living in heaven, one must escape the instinct array set for humans. The weaker the instinct, the farther from humans and closer to celestials one becomes, while the stronger the instinct, the farther from humans and closer to animals. In other words, the less one relies on instinct, the more one can escape the instinct array, while the more one relies on instinct, the more one will be trapped in the instinct array and unable to break free. How to escape the instinct array? Start from the three aspects of physiology, mentality, and spirituality. Physiologically, Reduce the need for and pursuit of eating, dressing, living, aging, sickness, and death, and don't put too much effort into these aspects. Stay away from fear, resistance, and escape. Mentally, free oneself from emotional dependence on others. Break free from the constraints and confusion of romantic love and sex. Don't pursue possession. Don't pursue wealth accumulation and social status. And don't seek fame and reputation. Spiritually, don't fear death and don't pursue eternal youth. By doing so, one can escape the instinct array. Next, one should elevate one's thinking ability, letting one's thoughts transition towards visualized thinking, taiji thinking, formless thinking, and holographic thinking. On one hand, act in accordance with our natures, and on the other hand, consciously create our imagined future. Most importantly, learn from the celestial beings in the 1,000-year world, the 10,000-year world, and the Elysium Celestial Islands continent, imitating their way of thinking and living. Over time, one can escape the instinct array and reach the realm of celestials. 36 8-diagram arrays, the array of intelligence. Thir-six. All conditioned phenomena are like a dream, an illusion, a bubble, and a shadow, like dew or a flash of lightning. Thus, we shall perceive them. Diamond Sutra. All conditioned phenomena originate from the wise. The actions of the wise throughout their lives resemble dreams and illusions. When humans think, the greatest creator laughs. Thinking is the characteristic of the wise, and the greatest creator laughs upon observing the wise. When the Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara was practicing the profound prajnaparamita, he illuminated the 5 skandhas and saw that they are all empty, and he crossed beyond all suffering and difficulty. Shariputra, form does not differ from emptiness. Emptiness does not differ from form. Form itself is emptiness. Emptiness itself is form. So too are feeling, cognition, formation, and consciousness. Shariputra, all dharmas are empty of characteristics. They are not produced, not destroyed, not defiled, not pure, and they neither increase nor diminish. Therefore, in emptiness there is no form, feeling, cognition, formation, or consciousness. No eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, or mind. No sights, sounds, smells, tastes, objects of touch, or dharmas. No field of the eyes up to and including no field of mind consciousness. And no ignorance or ending of ignorance, up to and including no old age and death or ending of old age and death. There is no suffering, no accumulating, no extinction, and no way, and no understanding and no attaining. Because nothing is attained, the Bodhisattva, through reliance on prajnaparamita, has no obstruction in his mind. Because there is no obstruction, he is not afraid, and he leaves distorted dream thinking far behind. Ultimately, nirvana. The heart of Prajnaparamita Sutra, Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva possesses no wisdom, no obstruction, no fear, no inverted dreams. He merely preserves emptiness and purity, acting according to his nature, handling naturally come-and-go relations with no resistance, taking advantage of opportunities that arise and does not engage in activities or stir up troubles. Wisdom is not different from foolishness, and foolishness is not different from wisdom. Wisdom is foolishness, and foolishness is wisdom. From the perspective of humans, the wise are clever individuals, but from the heavenly perspective, the wise are complete fools. Therefore, the Tao Te Ching says, great wisdom appears like foolishness. Life is a play. To make the plot of the drama exciting and fascinating, there must be wise people. Wise people are like circus clowns, interspersing laughter among the audience. Otherwise, the drama would be too dull and boring. In the world, the wise are likened to flowers, but not fruits. Flowers are charming, beautiful, colorful, and admirable. Therefore, everyone wants to be wise. However, the desire to become wise forms one of the 36 8-diagram arrays, the array of intelligence, leading people into the 8-diagram array of seeking wisdom, making it difficult for them to escape. Consider the lilies how they grow. They toil not, they spin not. And yet I say unto you, that Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. If then God so clothe the grass, which is today in the field, and tomorrow is cast into the oven, How much more will he clothe you, O ye of little faith? And seek not ye what ye shall eat, or what ye shall drink, neither be ye of doubtful mind. For all these things do the nations of the world seek after, and your Father knoweth that ye have need of these things. But rather seek ye the kingdom of God, and all these things shall be added unto you. Luke 12 verses 27 to 31, the Holy Bible. What did Jesus Christ teach us? He taught us to constantly follow the path of the greatest Creator, to adhere to the way of nature, to learn from the lilies of the field, not to worry about anything, not to be concerned about food, clothing, shelter, transportation, aging, sickness, and death, not to seek wisdom, but to maintain the nature of Tathagata, to maintain the simplicity of human nature. In this way, one can enter the kingdom of the greatest Creator and enjoy the pleasures and eternity of life. The array of intelligence aims to make people clever, different from others, possessing more wealth, fame, status, knowledge, and wisdom than others, making people look up to them, envy them, and be jealous of them. But all of this is nothing but a dream. Everything is a game. Only life is real. Seeking wisdom and abandoning the simple nature like a lily is reversing the priority and having distorted dreams. Once ensnared in the array of intelligence, one inevitably becomes engrossed in the pursuit of wealth and honor and is consumed by worries of poverty and humility. One becomes incessantly occupied with learning, researching, and exercising the mind, inevitably becoming proficient in gong, magic, and techniques. One inevitably becomes adept at strategizing and scheming, inevitably engaging in cunning and deceitful tactics with others. In the end, the result is that cleverness often outsmarts itself, and all conditioned phenomena are like dreams, illusions. How does one escape the array of intelligence? Celestial Laozi tells us, abandon sagacity, discard wisdom. Return to the origin and restore the simplicity. Return to the infant. Follow the teachings of Jesus Christ. Become like little children. Maintain the simplicity of human nature like the lilies, where great wisdom appears as foolishness, and follow the path of the greatest Creator, the natural way. 36 8 Diagram Arrays. The array of life and death. Xiefeng. Life continues endlessly, revolving ceaselessly, erasing memories of past lives, and reappearing as a new self in specific time and space. With endless hope, all things thriving, life endlessly repeating, dramas unfolding, and ceaseless games. This is the life and death array. Life is a cycle of growth and decline, arising and dwelling, decaying and emptiness. It is constantly renewing and eliminating, scene after scene, act after act. While humans cannot live eternally, the cycle of life and death is eternal. The human soul does not die, yet we believe we will eventually face death. Ahead, there is always a new view. Behind, the scenery gradually fades from the horizon. Like waves, life pushes forward, each wave becoming the next, appearing bright yet dark, dark yet bright. It's an endless journey without an end, a cycle without a conclusion. This is the array of life and death. Arrivals continue, departures never cease. The train of history carries life along tracks without a terminal station, endlessly traversing on ever-changing temporal paths, seeming new yet not old, seeming old yet not new, seeming familiar yet not original, appearing clear yet confusingly inverted. This is the life and death array. Drifting in the river of history, jostling on life's path, sometimes uncertain of the way ahead, sometimes seeing light after darkness, forgetting past grievances, anticipating future joys and sorrows, reluctant but unable to escape, drifting aimlessly with the current or flowing clear with the stream. Just as one ascends a peak, immediately, a canyon follows, different rebirths, the same conclusion. This is the life and death array. Both sorrow and joy, both joy and sorrow, sometimes tragedy, sometimes comedy, sorrow and joy intersect, joy and sorrow alternate, seeming full of hope, yet despair lies at the end. What appears as despair holds hope at its end. With spring and fall they come and go. This is the life and death array. Scenes never ending, paths never fully traversed, hardships never fully consumed, suffering never fully endured, joys never fully enjoyed, calamities never fully borne. anger never fully vented, debts never fully repaid, endless permutations, a human life journey with a beginning and end, relationships entangled, rise and fall, honor and disgrace fluctuate. This is the life and death array. Every person is within the life and death array. Without escaping it, there is no end in sight. Without escaping it, one cannot break free from the 6 realms of reincarnation. Without escaping it, one will suffer the torment of the 5 element cycles. Without escaping it, one can never reach the sacred realm of the celestial land. How to escape the life and death array? Where there is life, there is inevitably death. Where there is death, there is inevitably life. Without birth, there is no death. Without death, there is no birth. Life and death depend on each other, each being the root of the other. Think unconventionally, let your imagination soar. Transform life into death, transform death into life. Only live, never die. Only die, never live. Without birth, without death. Without death, without birth. Die first, then be reborn, living without death. Stay away from inverted dreams. Stay away from illusions. Stay away from the pursuit of possessions. Stay away from the material world. Abandon love and hatred. Abandon closeness and distance. Reject worry and fear. Reject intoxication with life and death. A spark of enlightenment illuminates the vast universe. Without attachment, without hindrance, right and wrong vanish. Honor and disgrace are irrelevant. Flowers bloom and wither without stirring emotions. Clouds gather and disperse without affecting the heart. Without agitation, without worry, without attachment, without restraint. Follow the flow and roam freely. Everything is a game. Only life is real. Treat everything as a game to play. Hold tightly to the greatest creator's hand. Sever worldly ties and establish celestial bonds. 36 8 diagram arrays. The array of nature. Thir-six. Humans live in nature, just as fish live in water. Humans originate from nature, live in nature, and return to nature. Without nature, there would be no humans. Without nature, there would be no vast world. Nature is the Buddha. Living in nature is living in the Buddha. To become a Buddha, one must live fully in nature. Humans can transcend everything, but they can never transcend nature. Nature is a characteristic of structure, and structure determines the nature of things. Whatever the structure, there is a corresponding nature. All things have nature. The essence of things is determined by structure, but the characteristics of things are manifested by nature. Different things have different natures. Mountains have mountain-like qualities. Water has water-like qualities. Flowers have flower-like qualities. Medicines have medicinal qualities. Animals have animal-like qualities. Humans have human-like qualities. Buddhas have Buddha-like qualities. And gods have divine qualities. All things possess nature and live in nature. They exist in a limited environment because of nature, thus creating the splendid and orderly world, which is the nature array. Nature is divided into 3 types: innate nature, bestowed nature, and acquired nature. Innate nature is given by the Creator and is the essential attribute of things, belonging wholly to them. Bestowed nature is the characteristics bestowed upon various types of things to differentiate them, belonging to their respective categories. Acquired nature is the habits formed by individual things through the influence of their environment and survival needs, belonging to the individuals themselves. For example, all water in the world shares the common innate nature of water, which belongs to all water bodies. However, seawater, river water, spring water, rainwater, etc., each have different bestowed natures, belonging to their respective categories. Salt water, tea water, medicinal water, tears, etc., acquire habits based on their specific uses, belonging to the individual level. Innate nature refers to the common attributes shared by all. Bestowed nature, inherent nature, refers to the characteristics possessed by a certain category of things, and acquired nature refers to the individuality of a single entity. For instance, let's take flowers as an example. All flowers share a commonality, which is their innate nature. However, flowers are further categorized into different families such as the Asteraceae, daisy family, Liliaceae, lily family, Orchidaceae, orchid family, Cactaceae, cactus family, Araceae, arum family, etc., which is their bestowed, inherent nature. Within the Asteraceae family, there are thousands of varieties like the chrysanthemum, golden daisy, black daisy, pink mini daisy, etc., each with its own individuality, which is their acquired nature. Humans, regardless of who they are, share the common characteristics of humanity, which is their innate nature. However, people of different races, yellow, white, black, have their own unique traits, which are their bestowed natures. Each individual person has their own unique personality, which is their acquired nature. Humans possess both innate nature and their own bestowed and acquired natures. Innate nature is a state of emptiness and elegance without form. It is the nature of Tao. Bestowed nature is a state of differentiation with the Tai Chi. It is the nature of virtue. Acquired nature is a habitual state of adaptation to the environment. It is the nature of reason. Benevolence, righteousness, propriety, wisdom, and trust are all results of acquired nature. How to escape the nature array? In terms of essential attributes, humans cannot escape the nature array because humans themselves are nature and cannot transcend it. To escape the nature array means to overcome acquired habits, discard bestowed characteristics, and restore innate nature. In other words, if humans surpass the rationality of benevolence, righteousness, propriety, wisdom, and trust, abandon the nature of virtue, and return to the nature of Tao, they can be considered to have escaped the nature array. When discussing nature, we must also talk about the nature of two sexes and the nature of sexual love. The nature of sexual love is not innate nature or acquired nature but bestowed nature. Humans are divided into male and female, yin and yang, due to the principles of Tai Chi. All things carry yin yet embrace yang, is also due to the principles of Tai Chi from the perspective of cultivation. Humans can only transcend sexual love and no longer engage in sexual love when they surpass the yin and yang of Tai Chi and return to innate nature to achieve self-harmony. This is the state of Buddhahood and also the state of super-celestial being. Humans come from nature, return to nature, and the path to returning to innate nature, the nature of Tao, is still nature. Only through sex can one return to nature. When yin and yang achieve balance and saturation, one can return to the sea of nature, the innate nature, the nature of Tao. If yin or yang is lacking, there will be imbalance and deficiency, making it difficult to return to the sea of nature, the innate of nature, the nature of Tao. Do not avoid sex. The more you avoid sex, the further you move away from innate nature, the nature of Tao, Buddhahood. 36 8-diagram arrays, the array of space. Xiefeng. The position and range of movement of material and non-material are referred to as space. Space is divided into positive and negative aspects. The space composed of material is called positive space, and the space composed of non-material is called negative space. When material disappears, positive space also disappears. When non-material disappears, negative space also disappears. Therefore, the universe does not have a fixed size. Its size changes depending on the existence and state of material and non-material. There are 36 dimensional spaces in the universe, and different spaces correspond to different forms and connotations of life. To maintain the symmetrical balance of various levels of life space in the universe, the greatest creator has established a space array, which places each life in a certain space to complete the process of growth and decline in order to maintain the overall symmetrical balance of life in the entire universe. The space array is as first, macroscopically divides space into material space and non-material space. Material space includes the Earth space, human world, where human society is located, the 1,000-year world, the 10,000-year world, and so on. Non-material space includes human dreams, the Pure Land, and the Celestial Islands continent. They are separated as yin, non-material, and yang, material, mutually unaware of each other. Then, according to the different non-material structures of each life, they are arranged in specific spaces in more than 30 dimensional spaces, making it impossible for them to exceed their own space. Finally, each life's senses and thoughts are restricted to a certain level, making them unable to see or be aware of the existence of other spaces. in order to maintain the order of various levels of life space and keep the sum of positive and negative energy in the universe equal to zero. In order to maintain the existence of the human world with both high and low-level life, when setting up human life, their auditory range is limited to between 20 and 20,000 hertz, and their visual range is limited to between 400 and 700 nanometers, so that humans cannot hear or see activities in other life spaces and can feel at ease in the human world. At the same time, human thinking is limited to the range of material, imagery, association, and illusion, making humans unaware that there are other life spaces outside the human world. Space is a kind of limitation. The larger the space for survival, the greater the freedom of life. Prisoners are confined to a few square meters of space. Pigs are confined to pigsties, fish are confined to water, earthworms are confined to soil, eagles are confined to cliffs and the sky, tigers and leopards are confined to mountains and jungles, plants are confined to land, and humans are confined to home, family, country. This is the space array. The space of every life is limited. There are not many lives with unlimited space. Even the life with the greatest freedom in the universe, super celestial beings, is limited to the celestial island's continent. Only the space of deity celestial beings is unrestricted, but when deity celestial beings enter a certain space, they must abide by the restrictions of that space, making it difficult to achieve a high degree of freedom. Compared to humans, chickens, ducks, pigs, sheep, cows, and horses are pitiful because their space is limited relative to humans. Compared to celestials, humans are pitiful because the space they can move in during their lifetime is very limited and difficult to compare with the space where celestials can move. To become a higher level life, humans must escape the activity space that restricts them, just as pigs must escape from the pigsty to become humans. How to escape the space array? First of all, it's a matter of consciousness and thinking. If consciousness remains unchanged and thinking does not change, one can never escape the space array. Escape in form is not the ultimate escape. For example, if a pig escapes from a pigsty but does not possess human consciousness and thinking, then even if it escapes, it either cannot survive or will return to the pigsty. To escape from the human space array, first, one must resolve not to be human. If one wants to continue being human, no matter how much they struggle or travel around the world, they will still be unable to escape the palm of the Tathagata Buddha or escape the human world. Jumping out of the three realms and not in the five elements means being unable to escape the three realms and thus being unable to escape the bondage of the five elements. The specific steps should be as follows. First, one must understand life spaces that are better and of higher levels than the human world, such as the 1,000-year world. Then, learn and imitate the lifestyle of celestial beings in the 1,000-year world. Replace one's existing consciousness with the consciousness of celestial beings, and think in the way celestial beings think. Then, gradually break free from the thinking patterns of families, political parties, religions, and countries, strive to live like celestial beings, and finally, give up all possessions acquired in the human world. Repay all debts owed in the human world. Accumulate some capital to enter higher-level life spaces and escape from the human world directly to paradise, such as the 1,000-year world. 36 8 diagram arrays. The array of structure. Thir-six. Everything has a structure, which is the determining factor for the shape and properties of things. The shape and properties of all things, whether it's a mountain, a building, a pencil, a molecule, an atom, a basic particle, a plant, a flower, an insect, a person, a dog, or a fish, are determined by their structures. Without structure, there would be no existence. The distinguishing feature of one thing from another lies in the difference in structure. People look different from each other because their structures differ. The diversity and wonders of the world result from the differences and variations in structures. The taste of sweetness, sourness, bitterness, saltiness, and spiciness is determined by the structure of food. The colors red, orange, yellow, green, indigo, blue, and purple are determined by the structure of colors. The scents of fragrance, stench, pungent, muttony, and fishiness are determined by the structure of odors. Anything perceived by touch is determined by its structure. Without structure, there would be no universe, no life, and no everything. The characteristics of things and the nature of life are determined by structure. Mountains have mountain nature, water has water nature, people have human nature, and animals have animal nature. Everything has its own nature, determined by structure. Some flowers emit fragrance, while others do not. Peach trees bear peaches, pear trees bear pears, but willow trees do not bear fruit. All of this is due to structure. Countless structures of astronomical proportions constitute the universe and this vibrant world. Every entity follows its own kind, each displaying its unique brilliance. All things fulfill their roles and exhibit their talents in an orderly fashion, without any chaos. This forms the intricate structure array. To change the nature of things, one must first change their structure. If the structure of a thing remains unchanged, its nature will not change. Computers are updated rapidly, mainly due to changes in their structures. As a life form, for example, a dog that wishes to cease being a dog and become a human must change its own structure from that of a dog to that of a human. As a human, if one wishes to cease being human and become a celestial being, one must change the human structure to that of a celestial being. All things and life forms are confined to a certain spatial environment by their structures. Humans live in the human world and cannot live in the celestial world. This is the restraint and restriction of the structure array. If one wants to escape from the human world and enter the celestial world to live, one must escape from the structure array. A person living in a marriage and family will inevitably be entangled in the troubles and affairs of marriage and family, making it difficult to break free. To escape from the suffering of being human, one must step out of marriage and family. If you do not step out of family life, do not expect to be free from the troubles and worries brought about by marriage and family. A person living in the human world is inevitably constrained and bound by the structure array of the human world. They must spend their entire life bustling about for food, clothing, shelter, and transportation. Without escaping from the human world, one cannot expect to live leisurely. To live freely and leisurely, one must break free from the constraints of the structure array of the human world. To jump out of the three realms and not be bound by the five elements. To escape from the structure array of humans and enter the structure array of celestial beings is another way of life. So, how does one escape from the structure array? It's simple. Just change the non-material structure of human life to that of celestial life. How to replace human life structure with celestial life structure? The answer is, format human consciousness and reinstall celestial consciousness. As long as consciousness changes, the non-material structure of life will change. Which aspects of human consciousness need to be changed, and which aspects need to be replaced with celestial consciousness? Nationalism, religion, political party, ethnicity, marriage, and family consciousness are human consciousness. Jealousy, resentment, anger, selfishness, greed, laziness, competition, antagonism, and possession are all human consciousness. The pursuit of fame, profit, status, merit, ancestral glory, eternal fame, longevity, wealth, magical powers, and special abilities are all human consciousness. Fear, worry, anxiety, and scariness are human consciousness. Emotional and life dependence on external factors is human consciousness. Wanting to change nature is human consciousness. Embracing things as they are, associating with others by following naturally come-and-go relations, acting in accordance with our natures, seizing opportunities as they arise, walking in accordance with the laws of nature, feeling content no matter where we are or what we are doing, following our own nature and being unrestrained, following our destiny and being carefree. These are all expressions of celestial consciousness. Enjoying life, playing, and entertaining oneself are also manifestations of celestial consciousness. Surrendering life to the greatest creator and allowing the process of life to be arranged by Tao. This too is celestial consciousness. To fully understand celestial consciousness, one must understand the lifestyle and mindset of the celestials living in the celestial worlds. For example, understanding the lifestyle and mindset of the celestials in the 1,000-year world, the 10,000-year world, and the celestial islands continent, and learning from them, imitating them, and embodying them bit by bit. Once human consciousness is replaced by celestial consciousness, one will escape from the structure array set up for humans and can go to the celestial world to enjoy the life of celestials. 36 8 Diagram Arrays. The Array of Wisdom. Xiefeng. In the vast ocean of Buddhist terminology, there are two words that stand out, two words that inspire longing, prajna and bodhi. Both of these Buddhist terms are related to wisdom. Defining wisdom is challenging. According to the Xinhua Dictionary, wisdom is defined as the ability to quickly, flexibly, and correctly understand and solve problems. In my view, this definition is superficial and fails to encompass the full meaning and scope of wisdom. Wisdom is the crystallization of knowledge, including experience, but having knowledge does not necessarily equate to wisdom. To elevate abundant knowledge to wisdom, there must be the guidance of spiritual intuition. Without spiritual intuition, wisdom is unattainable. Therefore, if we were to force a definition of wisdom, it would be knowledge plus spirituality equals wisdom. The pinnacle of human wisdom is the Diamond Sutra. The full name of the sutra translated by Kumarajiva is the Vajraketaka Prajnaparamita Sutra, while the version translated by Xuanzang is the Vajraketaka Prajnaparamita Sutra of Cutting Through to the True. Both versions contain the term prajna. Here, prajna signifies a perfect, complete, absolute wisdom that comprehends both worldly and transcendental phenomena, harmonious and unobstructed, impeccably precise, and fully enlightened. It refers to the wisdom that can comprehend the Tao, realize the Tao, cultivate the Tao, transcend life and death, overcome all worldly thoughts, and attain sainthood. This is not ordinary intelligence. It is a fundamental wisdom pertaining to the essence and origin of metaphysical life. This wisdom is not obtained through thought, but through the wholehearted pursuit of realization involving both body and mind. This wisdom is what we call prajna. In the Diamond Sutra, the Heart Sutra, and other Buddhist scriptures, mention is made of Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi. In the second chapter, Subhuti makes a request of the Diamond Sutra. The Buddha states, "Good sons, good daughters who generate the mind of Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi should dwell thus, should subdue their minds." In the Heart Sutra, it says, "All Buddhas of the three periods, relying on Prajnaparamita, attain Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi." What does bodhi mean here? Bodhi signifies enlightenment, wisdom, awakening. It refers to the sudden awakening, the sudden understanding, the sudden entry into the path of enlightenment, the sudden realization of truth, reaching the realm beyond the ordinary. Bodhi is the great awakening, the perceiving of one's nature, the attainment of the ultimate enlightenment, reaching the level of nirvana. From the above, we know that wisdom can be divided into three levels: low-level wisdom, middle-level wisdom, and high-level wisdom. The ability to quickly and flexibly understand things and solve problems constitutes low-level wisdom. For example, two brothers carrying a large box each while traveling, feeling tired. The elder brother ingeniously buys a pole to carry both boxes on his shoulders, and the two brothers took turns to carry the two boxes, making the journey easier. This is wisdom. Another example is the wisdom demonstrated by Chao Chong weighing the elephant and Archimedes determining the purity of the gold crown for the king. Middle-level wisdom involves understanding, realizing, and attaining Tao, and in the end liberating oneself from the samsara of reincarnations, overcoming all worldly thoughts and attaining sainthood, as seen in the wisdom of bodhisattvas like Avalokitesvara. High-level wisdom entails the great awakening, the perceiving of one's nature, the complete unity with Tao, and the ultimate nirvana, as exemplified by the wisdom of the Buddha Shakyamuni. The highest realm of wisdom is the absence of wisdom, or what can be called holographic wisdom. Giving people appropriate free will, then allowing them to use wisdom to create a more comfortable life and state of mind in the vast ocean and sky of nature to satisfy various desires and greed, thereby maintaining an interesting and effective interpretation of the cosmic script, is called the wisdom array. Sun Wukong had 72 transformations but couldn't escape the palm of the Tathagata Buddha. Wisdom is a splendid thing, and humans cannot do without it. However, wisdom is also a devourer of time if not handled properly. Playing with wisdom poorly can lead to the squandering of life and bring endless harm. Weapons like atomic bombs, which destroyed Hiroshima and Nagasaki, are the crystallization of human wisdom. Did Einstein have wisdom? What did he accomplish in his lifetime? What substantive value and significance did his wisdom bring to his own life and existence? Not to mention us ordinary mortals. A lifetime devoted to the pursuit of knowledge and wisdom is the most contrary to the principles of nature, the misdirection and tragedy of life. The highest realm of wisdom is the absence of wisdom, or holographic wisdom, which is a wisdom that humans will forever find difficult to understand, comprehend, and attain. Therefore, as humans, we must both play with wisdom and escape from it. We must never be ensnared by wisdom, intoxicated by wisdom, and ultimately devoured by wisdom. The clever are tricked by their own cleverness. Wisdom can devour those who wield it. Therefore, Jesus warns us to become like children. Therefore, the Buddha warns us to discard the raft after crossing the river. Therefore, Laozi teaches us to return to simplicity, to return to infancy. Therefore, the Saint Muhammad admonishes us to escape the boundaries of heaven and earth with the help of authority, meaning that without relying on the power of authority and relying solely on one's own wisdom, one will never escape the cycle of samsara of the three realms. So, how do we escape the wisdom array? After much deliberation, I have finally come to the conclusion that the method to escape the wisdom array is: keep the greatest creator in your heart, always keep your consciousness clear and agile, and then take things as they are, associate with others by following naturally come-and-go relations, act in accordance with our natures, and take advantage of opportunities as they arise. 36 8-diagram arrays. The array of gravitation. Thir-six. Everything in the universe is bound, or rather, protected by gravity. Without gravity, there would be no world, no universe, and no myriad phenomena, including all life forms. Gravity both confines and protects everything, including life. There are two types of gravity: material gravity and non-material gravity. The attraction between material entities is called material gravity, while the attraction between non-material entities is called non-material gravity. The strength of material gravity between objects is directly proportional to the product of their masses and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. The strength of non-material gravity between entities is directly proportional to the debts they owe each other and inversely proportional to the favors they have done for each other. When gravity confines and protects material or non-material entities within a certain space-time, preventing their escape, it is referred to as a gravitation array. Humans are simultaneously bound by material and non-material gravity, which prevents them from escaping the cycle of reincarnation in the human world. Material gravity primarily confines humans to Earth, their physical vessel, while non-material gravity restrains humans through their indebtedness to nature, other life forms, and other individuals. To break free from the cycle of reincarnation and ascend to heaven, humans must overcome the constraints of material and non-material gravity. As long as there is a physical vessel, humans cannot escape the Earth and the solar system to reach other planets. The probability of escaping through micro-wormholes, space tunnels, interstellar gates, or lateral space-time is virtually negligible for the general populace and falls outside the realm of conventional discussion. Therefore, to reach heaven, humans must first transcend the physical body. Only by shedding their physical body can they have a chance to escape the Earth and the solar system. The methods to transcend the physical body include natural death, ascension, phoenix nirvana, and astral projection. Life Changyuan emphasizes the method of phoenix nirvana. The concept of phoenix nirvana, mentioned here, shares similarities with historical concepts, particularly in Buddhism, but also has differences in nature and method. Therefore, it should not be equated with or misinterpreted based on historical concepts. Ultimately, the confinement of the physical body to life will be overcome, and there is no need for further in-depth study or discussion. What we need to focus on is the confinement of life by non-material gravity, which I have already discussed in The Law of Gravitation of Life. Please refer to that for further insights. How do we understand the gravitational pull of non-material on life? For example, when we travel away from home, we always long for our own home and eagerly anticipate returning. This longing, this constant desire to return home, represents the gravitational pull of non-material on life. Similarly, when we dream of flying, we often reach a certain height or distance before finding it difficult to fly higher or experiencing fear. This is also a result of the gravitational pull of non-material on life. Furthermore, when we are reincarnated, we tend to be born into familiar environments rather than unfamiliar ones. This, too, is due to the gravitational pull of non-material on life. For members of Life Genuine, there is a clear phenomenon that accurately illustrates the gravitational pull of non-material on life. For example, when entering the second home, some members find it easy to settle in, while others face significant challenges. The primary reason for this discrepancy lies in the varying strength of the gravitational pull of non-material on each individual. Those with weaker pulls find it easier, while those with stronger pulls find it more difficult. Likewise, to transcend the human world and reach heaven in the 1,000-year world, the 10,000-year world, or the Elysium Celestial Islands continent, individuals must first overcome the gravitational pull of non-material in the human and animal worlds. Otherwise, despite their yearning, they will struggle to take action, much like many members of Life Genuine who find it challenging to settle in the second home, even though they aspire to do so. Where gravity is strong, material moves towards. Where gravity is strong, life cycles and transforms. The gravitational pull of non-material on life is latent, imperceptible to humans, and operates independently of human will, determined by the program of Tao. Although heaven exerts a strong pull on humans, why is it so difficult for humans to enter heaven? It is because the gravitational pull of the debts we owe in our past lives far outweighs the pull of heaven. This principle applies only to the world of reincarnation. To completely break free from the cycle of life and enjoy eternal happiness in the Pure Land, commonly referred to as jumping out of the three realms and not staying within the five elements, one must completely sever ties with the world of reincarnation, while the only thorough way of severing is not owing any debts to it while amassing treasures in the Pure Land. This is the basic principle of the gravitation array and how to break free from it to reach an ideal state. The principle is easy to understand, but putting it into practice and achieving one's goals is not a simple task. The ultimate method for escaping gravitational constraints and reaching the other shore is extensively discussed and practiced in Chanyuan Corpus and Siefeng Corpus, and it is not further elaborated here. 36 8 Diagrams of Time. The Array of Time. Siefeng. Does time truly exist? What exactly is time? Why do things undergo the cycle of formation, existence, decay, and emptiness? Why do humans experience birth, aging, sickness, and death? Is everything an illusion, or does it truly exist? First, let's examine the prophecies and their fulfillment in the Bible. I will scatter you among the nations. Leviticus 26 verse 33. The Jews will be persecuted among the nations. Leviticus 26 verses 38 to 39. I will gather you from the nations and bring you back to your own land. Ezekiel 36 verse. These prophecies were made over 2,000 years ago. When we look back at the history of the Jewish people, we find that they lost their homeland and were scattered among the nations. Later, whether it was in Cyprus, Egypt, Germany, France, England, or in Spain, Czech Republic, Lithuania, Poland, and other nations, the Jews suffered brutal persecution. The persecution suffered by the Jews during World War II was even more severe. Before 1948, Jews gathered from various nations to the Palestinian territories and officially established the State of Israel in May 1948, fulfilling the above prophecies. Next, let's look at the prophecies made by the French physician Nostradamus in the centuries over 400 years ago. The Century 3, Quatrain 92. The world near the last period, Saturn will come back again late. Empire transferred towards the dusky nation, the eye plucked out by the goshawk at Narbonne. The Century 6, Quatrain 10. In a short time, the temples with colors of white and black of the two intermixed. Red and yellow ones will carry off theirs from them, blood, land, plague, famine, fire extinguished by water. This prophecy is being fulfilled. First, empire transferred towards the dusky nation was fulfilled when the African-American Barack Obama became president of the United States. Of white and black of the two intermixed was fulfilled when President Obama, a black man, and Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, a white woman, intermixed. In this situation, other races cannot maintain their characteristics and positions. For example, the recent military exercises between South Korea, Japan, and the United States, Obama's pledge to lead Asia at the ASEAN summit, and since the beginning of this year, blood, plague, famine, fire, and floods have occurred everywhere. Let's look at the ancient Chinese prophecy, the inscription of the Jinling Pagoda. Jinling Pagoda, Liu Ji built it. Chiang Kai-shek demolished it. With the pagoda gone, the army and the people will slaughter each other. The Jinling Pagoda, located on the outskirts of Nanjing, was constructed by Liu Bowen, also known as Liu Ji, a military strategist from the Ming Dynasty, approximately 600 years ago. In 1918, when the Nationalist Army seized control of Nanjing, there were strange noises emanating from the pagoda. As a result, Chiang Kai-shek ordered its demolition. During the demolition process, the inscription of the Jinling Pagoda was uncovered, thereby fulfilling the prophecy, Liu Ji built it, Chiang Kai-shek demolished it. This prophecy, made 600 years ago, foretold that Chiang Kai-shek would be the one to demolish the Jinling Pagoda. There are also prophecies such as Liu Bowen's Song of Xiaobing, Baked Cake and Griddle, Xiao Yong's Poem of Plum Blossom, Li Chunfeng and Yuan Tiangong's Pushing Back, Zhuge Liang's Lesson Before Horse, Jiang Taigong's Song of Heaven and Earth for Thousands of Years, Master Bu Su's Prophecy Poem, Poem of Zen Master Huang Tiller, Li Chuanfeng's Hidden Head Poem, and so on, most of which have been fulfilled. Especially noteworthy is the prophecy poem of Master Bu Su, which mentions iron birds soaring in the sky, the southeast completely destroyed. Bu Su was a great general in the Sui dynasty, over 1,000 years ago. There were no airplanes in his era, yet he saw airplanes and called them iron birds, showing how accurate his prophecy was. Hundreds of years ago, over 1,000 years ago, over 2,000 years ago, being able to accurately predict the future state. What do these facts illustrate? They illustrate that time does not exist. Time is just an illusion for humans. Or rather, time is just a recorder of material movement states, and time itself does not play any role in the development and change of things. How to understand? Everything has already been arranged. Even the names of people have been arranged. For example, Chiang Kai-shek. The inscription of the Jinling Pagoda already knew 600 years ago that someone named Chiang Kai-shek would demolish the Jinling Pagoda. What does this mean? It means that the entire universe, the entire development and change of humanity has already been written as a script. The locations, characters, events, and plots are all written in the script. Everything is unfolding according to the script. Even every person's experiences of birth, aging, sickness and death, joys and sorrows, separations and reunions, all within the fixed number, all within the program, all within the prearranged plot. If you still don't understand, please find a long novel. Flip to page 81 and see what the plot is on that page. Suppose that page is your present. Then, if you randomly flip to any page before or after, you will find that everything about you has already been arranged in the novel, and everything is being performed according to the plot of the novel. The entire history of mankind is also like this. If it were not prearranged, then no prophecy would be accurate, and no great prophet would be able to predict what would happen the next day, let alone predict the situation decades, hundreds, or thousands of years later. Time does not exist. Anyone can go back to their past or run to their future, just like flipping through a long novel at will. If you want to flip to a certain page, you can flip to that page. Those who can do this have opened the Buddha's eye and are Buddhas. Those who cannot do this have not yet opened the Buddha's eye and have not yet become Buddhas. In fact, whether one is a Buddha or not has already been arranged. It's just that one is lost in the array of time and cannot experience the state of Buddha. I have already analyzed that in the universe, except for one accident, the rest are all inevitable. That is to say, the current situation of each of us has already been arranged in the script, and how it will be in the future must also be performed according to the plot of the script, and we cannot help ourselves. To put it further, every person we meet, every event we encounter, the joys and sorrows, separations and reunions of our lives, how our eating, clothing, housing, and transportation, birth, aging, sickness, and death occur, how they change and how they end, are all arranged in the program. In fact, we are powerless and can only face it. Therefore, a contradiction arises. Since everything is predetermined, scripted, and programmed, an individual powerlessness, then what's the point of cultivation, accumulating merits to repay karmic debts and accumulate treasures in the kingdom of heaven, or building one's own spiritual garden before 2013, etc.? Xiefeng's guidance is also unnecessary, and the Chanyuan value is contradictory. It is contradictory indeed, but also not contradictory at all. Because I have already said, everything is a game, only life is real. We should take things as they are, associate with others by following natural come-and-go relations, act in accordance with one's intrinsic nature, and take advantage of opportunities as they arise. Dharma sets no rules, it is ever-changing. Form has no set shape, non-form is form, and there are mysteries within mysteries, and there are exceptions to the rules. More importantly, we must act according to the script. Once one achieves enlightenment and becomes a Buddha, or ascends to become a celestial being, time ceases to exist. Prior to reaching such a state, every individual is caught within the time array. We often find ourselves reminiscing about the past and anticipating the future. We frequently experience joy or distress about our current circumstances, and we feel either calm or anxious, content or fearful. We often worry and feel anxious about the wrinkles forming on our foreheads and the gradual sagging of our skin as we age. The concepts of past, present, and future, yesterday, today, and tomorrow, past life, present life, and next life, youth, adulthood, and old age, all these are part of the time array. We are all trapped within this time array, unable to extricate ourselves or transcend it. We often lament the swift passage of time, the loss of our youth, and find ourselves racing against the clock, working around the clock. We frequently regret the past and feel melancholic about the future. All these are the results of being caught in the time array. Time is illusory, a misconception of the mind. Like capturing our youth and vitality on a DVD, if we keep it safe, no matter how many thousands of years later we play it back, we will still be in our prime. Our current situation is similar to playing a DVD, but we are unable to do so ourselves. Why can't we look back on our past and future? Because we are confined within the time array. We are actors, not playwrights or directors. Only by escaping the time array can we be free from its constraints and enter the eternal kingdom of freedom to fully enjoy the pleasures of life. How to escape the time array? Anyone who wants to escape from the program, to escape from the plot, is impossible. Otherwise, people would enter the time tunnel to kill their own mothers and escape the script directly to the Pure Land, or the Celestial Islands continent. However, you can step out of yourself and transcend yourself to observe yourself. Make a DVD for yourself, then play it on the TV or computer and watch yourself. How does it feel? Preset yourself in the 1,000-year world, the 10,000-year world, the Elysium Celestial Islands continent, and then watch yourself in the world as if watching a movie. This is the wonderful method of escaping the time array. Once you escape the time array and observe yourself, at that moment, all aspects of life resemble acting in a play. Whether you're playing the role of a great person or a commoner, whether you're portraying a wealthy individual or a beggar, whether you're acting as a tour guide or a Chanyuan celestial, whether you're playing the role of an aggressor or a victim, whether you're portraying a young person or an old person, it's all the same. It's all just a game, just acting. There's nothing to be distressed, worried, resentful, anxious, fearful, or afraid of. Even if the character in the script dies, it doesn't matter, because we still exist. Want to stay forever young? You can. Want to grow old forever? You can. Want to be in love and enter the bridal chamber every day? You can. The key is to distinguish between yourself in the plot and your true self. The self in the plot is the one who is currently watching the time array of the 36 8 diagram arrays. The true self is the one described in the Heart Sutra, the one in the celestial islands continent, the Buddha, the nature, the celestial being. Can't break free? Don't worry, breaking free from the time array is a matter of thinking. Please continue along the tour guide route map, and one day you will see the light and understand everything. Yay! Can we eat meat? Shuifeng. According to Buddhist teachings, one should not eat meat, because eating meat is killing and destroying life, which is cruel and unmerciful. People who eat meat are not acceptable to Buddhism. Another viewpoint is that the meat you eat may have come from your parents and relatives, because it may come from the animal that they happen to have been reincarnated into. Therefore, one should absolutely abstain from eating meat. Later Buddhist preachers proposed, in light of the actual situation of followers living at home, that clean meat is eatable, namely, meat can be eatable if it does not come from the animal that is killed for you, that you do not want to kill, or that you have seen killed. That is to say, the meat that you eat does not come from the animal that is skilled specially for you, and you don't kill animals or see animals being killed. Tibetan Buddhism thinks that meat is eatable because Tibetans are mostly herdsmen, for whom beef and mutton are their staple food, without which they can hardly survive. Followers of Judaism, Christianity, Roman Catholicism, and Orthodox Church eat meat, but do not eat the meat of dead animals. They only eat the meat of killed animals. The Old Testament of the Bible has made a detailed classified description of the animals that can be eaten and the animals that cannot be eaten. Islamism has a strict restriction on the eating of meat. This restriction comes from the Bible. As are different from Christians, Muslims, followers of Islamism do not eat pork and carrion, because pork and carrion are not clean and thus will pollute man's spiritual nature. Besides, before killing animals, Muslims will chant scriptures to console animals and release their souls from purgatory, which reflects the mercy and care of Muslims for animals. On the basis of abiding by the Bible, the witnesses of Yahweh strictly forbid the eating of animal blood, regarding blood not meat as the life of animals. Life Genuine holds the viewpoint that life is divided into different levels. Life at lower levels serves life at higher levels, and by way of sacrifice, life can get over its plight and create condition for a higher realm. Life should serve each other, life is interrelated, and only by serving other forms of life can it attain a higher realm. Therefore, Life Genuine neither objects to not supports the eating of meat. Whether one eats meat or not depends on the actual situation. Each individual can behave according to his habits and be flexible, act in accordance with our nature, and take advantage of the opportunities as they arise. Life Genuine has several principles with regard to the eating of meat. Do not eat the meat of wild animals, so that the chain of life can be protected and will not be cut off. When killing livestock and poultry for food, we had better learn from the Muslim approach and chant scriptures to release their souls from purgatory, offering them consolation at the end of their life and minimizing their sufferings. Let professionals do the killing, ordinary people do not do the killing, because professionals can minimize and shorten the sufferings of animals, while ordinary people are likely to bring a lot of pain to animals and may prolong the sufferings. Do not eat dog flesh, because dogs have very high spiritual nature. The higher the spiritual nature of an animal, the greater the damage will be to the person who eats its meat. Eat the cattle, goats, pigs, and chickens that have been raised specially to provide meat, and one had better refrain from eating livestock and poultry that have not been raised for this purpose. There is affection between man and poultry and livestock, which can only be felt by those who have taken great care in feeding them. I have seen cattle shedding tears, sheep looking sad, and chickens attaching to people. One cannot bear to kill those animals for which he has affection. Genuine celestials can have meat but should not kill animals and do not witness the killing of animals. I have said, eating vegetables makes one sober, eating meat makes one bemuddled, eating grains makes one wise, and eating chi makes one deity-like. The higher the spiritual nature of an animal and plant, the greater the damage will be to the person who eats them. The meat of a killed animal is no longer life but a kind of energy. Therefore, eating meat is only taking in the energy. However, any food has its structure and contains information, and one will be affected by the food he eats. One will be infected if he eats poultry contracted with bird flu, although poultry provides a kind of meat. Virgin croton is a kind of energy, but one may suffer loose bowels after eating it. Chili is a kind of energy, but one will feel unbearably hot after eating it. Any kind of food will have either more or less positive or negative effects on us. The danger of eating meat lies in the fact that we are affected by the meat we eat. The hate of the animal eaten by us will be transferred to our body, and the natural endowments and instinct of the eaten animal will have effect on us. When an animal is being killed, its indignation and resentment will cause it to release a toxin in its meat. We will absorb the toxin when we eat the meat. Muslims are trying to lower the content of toxins to the greatest extent when they chant scriptures and release their souls from the purgatory and console them before killing animals. You can make an experiment. When you are enraged, your face will turn pale and blue because your anger has triggered the release of toxins in your body. You are what you eat, and this is only a matter of degree. Why do I stress again and again that we should feel a sense of gratitude every time we have the meal? Because only with a feeling of gratitude can we convert the toxins in the food and change the structure of food to benefit our own health. Christians will make prayer to the God at each meal to thank Him for the food He has given to people. And the deep level of reason for this is to convert the toxins. You can eat whenever you want to, but you must be grateful. Do not eat if do not want to, but do not feel that you have not gained advantage as a result. You can eat when you have to, but you may try your best to refrain from eating or try to eat as little as you can. You can understand the more profound ways concerning meat eating after you have learned non-form thinking and holographic thinking. The best way is to eat nothing. Eating chi is godlike. We can directly assimilate the essence of the sun and the moon and the anima of the earth. I have already offered you the key to open the Dharma eye, consciousness, structure, and energy. Any food is the conversion of energy. We eat mainly to absorb the energy contained in food. Then why do we still need to eat if we can absorb energy directly? Actually, whether one eats meat or not is related to the structure of everyone's life. Why doesn't sheep eat meat? Why does wolf eat meat? This is determined by their different structure of life. With self-cultivation and self-refinery, a person who likes meat very much will gradually lose interest in it, will grow averse to it, and may feel disgusted even at sight of it. Why? Because the non-material structure of your life has changed. Do not pretend, do not force and push. Let's conform to natural tendency. The core issue is to perfect the non-material structure of life, which is the key to solving problems and the key to self-refinery. Dieting is mainly a habit of thinking. If we have unconventional thinking, we can do away with dieting. When we say that we should pay off our debts in the human world, be sure to bear in mind that we still have to pay back the debts to nature and the debts to plants. Why should we hold life and nature in awe and respect? Why should we protect life and nature? The purpose is to pay back our debts, not for the sake of morality. In modern times, the best way to pay off our debts is to build life genuine. The reason behind this is very profound, so we must strive to perceive and understand it. The mystery and value of health. Thir-six. As people, we must keep our bodies healthy and energetic, for it is only when we are healthy that we can taste the sweetness of life. Once our health is lost, everything else goes. As people, we should never suffer illness. Even when death befalls us, we should not die of illness, but we should try for a death without illness. So, how do we remain healthy and avoid illness? Simply, the mystery of staying healthy and avoiding illness lies in having a perfect soul and a complete consciousness. If one's soul is perfect and their consciousness is complete, then I will guarantee that they will never get ill nor encounter unpredictable disasters. All causes of diseases lie in the non-material structures of life. If one structure goes wrong, then they will inevitably get ill or encounter some other disaster. If there is no problem with their structure, then there is no possibility of illness or disaster. The problem of structure is the problem of consciousness. If the consciousness is not pure, then the structure is imperfect, but if the consciousness is orderly and pure, then the structure must be perfect. How do we make our consciousnesses pure and perfect? There is only one solution, that is by taking the way of the greatest creator, following the teachings of Jesus Christ and Buddha Sakyamuni, and conducting oneself and acting according to the teachings of God, Buddha, celestial beings, and saints. To be specific, it is by building our soul gardens. As long as there are no weeds in our soul gardens, then our bodies will surely be in good health, and there will be no way to get ill or encounter unpredictable disasters. Desire, anger, ignorance, pride, and jealousy are weeds in our soul gardens. Envy, complaining, comparing, anger, selfishness, laziness, pride, arrogance, greed, and avid possession are all weeds in our soul gardens. All negative, gloomy, and pessimistic ideas, thoughts, and moods are weeds in our soul gardens which we should clean up thoroughly or good health will be hard to maintain. People rack their brains to maintain their health. The ancient emperor's classic internal manuscripts listed ways for people to have good health and avoid illnesses. From Shangnong's Herbal Classic to the theories on health of Bianc, Huadua, Zhang Hongjing, Sun Simio, and Lishizhen. From healthcare theories of Taoism to today's Treasures of Health, compiled and explained by top Chinese medical healthcare experts. From Qin Shi Huang's Searching for the Catholicons to various current ways and medicines of finding the keys to health. From traditional Chinese medicine to modern Western medical science. From all kinds of health magazines to the 5 volumes of Wisdom of Avoiding Illness by E. From meridian collateral theory to the ways of collecting qi and self-cultivating. As far as I am concerned, these health theories, as vast as a misty ocean, are only theories which begin to scratch the surface of treating symptoms but not root causes and are ineffective attempts at solutions. Have you been ill, been hurt in a car accident, been bitten by a dog or a snake, fallen down suddenly, or twisted your ankle? All these things were due to the imperfection of your consciousness and soul. Never blame other factors. Find the reasons for yourselves. Facts speak louder than words. Chanyuan celestials who settle in the second home will become free of illness, and those who become ill will regain their health quickly by taking the way of the greatest creator. I want everyone to hear and see that if Chanyuan celestials who settle in the second home no longer get sick over the next few years, and if the sick ones recover quickly, then that will prove the validity of my words. Then, people should take the way of the greatest creator and enter the second home as soon as possible. How to be free from the mortal body during meditation. Xiefeng. Find a secluded place with singing birds and fragrant flowers, unobstructed space, and cleanliness. Invite a close friend to guard you, so that insects, snakes, and scorpions cannot come close, miscellaneous people will not come around, and no one will be shouting and the sounds of horses and cars will not disturb you. Sit, cross-legged, quietly, not limited to full lotus or half lotus. Just sit casually. Straighten the body, relax, make the joints respond accordingly, neither leaning nor bending, loosen your clothes and belt. If there is a little uneasiness, move slightly to adjust yourself so as to be more comfortable. Keep quiet for a while. When the body and mind are stable and the breath is peaceful, then put your tongue against the roof of your mouth where the lips and teeth meet. Then gradually look at eye level and slowly close your eyes. Then start to adjust your breath, not breathing deeply or heavily, but let your breath be thin and long, with no thinking, no notions. Just sit quietly. In the first few days, the trees may prefer to be calm, but the wind will not subside. The kindness and enmity in the world, the merits and demerits, will be reflected in your mind one by one. You cannot drive them away, and you cannot dispel them because when you drive one away, another emerges. In the middle few days, self-desires will prevail, ideals, fantasies, and delusional scenes begin to appear in your mind, which you will not be able to make clear or to make them be in order. In the last few days, all views and peculiarities will gradually disappear, and your heart will gradually calm down, no longer being mindful of fame, fortune, karmic relatives, and other things. At this time, like a basin of dirty water, the scum floating on the surface of the water will have been skimmed off. The water quality will begin to show. The surface of the water will show a little light from the sun and the moon, the shadows of clouds, trees, and birds. With your mind holding up, your body practicing automatically, and your body and mind being straightened naturally, sitting without getting tired, your mind will be naturally clear and quiet, corresponding to your calmness, which holds the body and mind and makes them completely immovable. And the mind, from shallow to deep, becomes more and more stable without distractions. This is the first level of meditation. At the first level of meditation, there will be tactile sensations such as jumping, itching, coolness, warmth, lightness, heaviness, astringency, smoothness, falling, coldness, heat, floating, sinking, firmness, and softness, etc. and you will not see your body and any surrounding objects while sitting, as if you were in a void. When one enters deep into meditation gradually, the body and mind will become empty and quiet. One does not see inside or outside. At the same time, when the sense of touch arises, 10 merits and virtues appear along with it from the outside: concentration, emptiness, brightness and clearness, happiness, joy, kindness, the understanding of perception, liberation, divine connecting presence, softness of the heart and body. In this state, the whole body becomes limp, the body and mind are carefree, and it is an extremely wonderful feeling, 100 times more pleasurable than the feeling of your wedding night, like waking up after a deep sleep and finding a treasure when you are in poverty. You have been awakened to the truth of life, but be sober. You have just skimmed off the scum floating on the surface of your basin of dirty water, and you have tasted a little bit of the mysteries of the great world. If you have a heart full of joy and celebration, and have become infatuated with this aesthetic feeling and are reluctant to leave, you must forget to return, and you will no longer be able to make progress, and you will even fall into the realm of desire again. If you want to enter the second level of meditation, you must abandon the previous realm. Just like a strong man who is burning with desire resolutely leaves a nude young girl who is full of affection, and a poor man who is hungry and cold rejects a table full of delicacies. By 1. Not accepting. 2. Berating, and 3. Observing and analyzing, so you can get away from the error of the first level awakening. The awakening is extinguished, the previous divine connection disappears, and you have left the first level of meditation. After leaving the first level of meditation, if you continue to sit in meditation, you must not have any regrets. Otherwise, as the story in the Bible said, Lot's wife became a pillar of salt just because she looked back. Genesis 19 verses 17 and 26. On the way forward, don't look back, don't linger on the past, and don't be greedy for what you obtain. The lack of one basketful of earth spoils the entire effort to build a high mountain. You should abandon everything and move forward with your whole mind. Over time, before you know it, you will suddenly see a hungry tiger pounce on you, or a poisonous snake hissing and attacking you with its head up, or a monster with a green face and fangs opening its bloody mouth to bite you, or a headless ghost with its 5 pointed fingertips trying to grab you, or you may see a gentle and graceful fairy with ribbons fluttering on her body, floating towards you on auspicious clouds and melodic fairy music, or see the beautiful scenery, which is attractive, with many pavilions and towers among the green mountains and green waters covered by clouds and mist. Among the towers and pavilions, there are girls smiling and chasing each other. Several sensual beauties even make eyes with you and wave to you, and so on. These are the impurities in your spirituality, which are demonic. The scenes you see are illusory and unreal. They do not come from the outside world, but from within yourself. When these scenes appear one by one, as long as you are not afraid, let them try to invade you. But don't take the bait. Allow them to seduce you and keep still, and all kinds of illusions will gradually disappear. At this time, the impurities in your dirty water have been filtered out, and your water gradually becomes clear, and the true nature of the water will begin to appear. At this time, all phenomena in the vast world will be clearly reflected in this basin of water, and your heart will suddenly be clear and will shine. Concentration and happiness will emerge, just like a person coming out of the darkness, suddenly seeing outside that the spring is bright, the wind is gentle, the blue waves in the lake are rippling, the mountains are covered with green and various shades, the valley is full of fragrant flowers and birds are singing, white clouds are floating in the blue sky. What a peaceful scene. This is the second level of meditation. At the second level of meditation, not only are there 10 kinds of merits and virtues that are generated from within, but also you will reach 4 realms. 1. Inner purification. 2. Pleasure. 3. Joy. And 4. Peace of mind. Inner purification refers to the realization that your mind corresponds with your consciousness from the body, which corresponds with your consciousness in the first level of meditation, reaching of the manifestation of the direct Buddha nature from the awakening of your mentality. Pleasure refers to the self-pleasure of the body and mind, knowing that one has attained 10 kinds of merit and virtue. One's inner pleasure is immeasurable. Joy refers to tranquility, delight, and cheerfulness. Continuous beauty and joy. Peace of mind refers to escaping a catastrophe, the denial of suffering and joy, that the way ahead is clear, the fairyland is near, the mind is unmoved, and this state of mind is not easy to alter. It must be understood that the joy produced in the second level of meditation is low-level joy, which is impure, and there is no such joy in real spirituality, Buddha nature. This joy comes from your body, so you should observe your mind and examine this joy. Not only should you refuse it, but you should also berate and reject it. If you do not accept it, it will silently fade away. Only this joy comes from the core of the cells and the depths of the soul. To abandon it, it can be said that the road to Shu is harder than scaling the sky afar. If the joy only comes from the heart, it is easy to do. The key is that it does not all come from the heart. Just like an animal, even if its heart is cut out, the cells and other parts of its body are still moving. This joy is full of capillaries and nerve endings of the whole body. If it is not restrained, it will disturb the heart and make the heart intoxicated. The elimination of joy mainly depends on wisdom and mind power. In the process of meditation, as long as good things happen, don't be greedy and nostalgic. You must berate and not accept it, and joy will disappear by itself. Just like the Tang monk went to the Western heaven to acquire scriptures, if he is greedy for wealth and honor, for the back garden of the king of the kingdom of women, for the 1,000 kinds of conjugal love and 10,000 kinds of amorous feelings the jade hair from the moon will bring to him, he will never reach the Western heaven and will never get the real scriptures. After subduing the obstacle of the second level of meditation, your mind will become calm again. Continue to sit quietly and adjust your breath, and gradually, you will feel refreshed, and your whole body will be filled with contentment and simplicity. You will remain in this state for several hours, or several days, or several months. Then many mirages appear, like dreams, such as seeing yourself as a king, accepting the worship of all the officials, being surrounded by beauties in the harem, being filled with indescribable joy, endless pleasure, or seeing yourself walk on air and flying to the Penglai fairy pavilion. All the gods come to greet you, inquire about your well-being with concern, and give you a warm reception. Some invite you to eat peaches on a certain fairy mountain. Some invite you to go to a certain cave to appreciate its treasures, and some invite you to go to a certain tower to enjoy the scenery of the mountains, etc. Or you see yourself being invited by the Jade Emperor, and you sit next to the Emperor. In front of you are countless delicacies from the mountains and seas, and much delicious fine dining. The Jade Emperor affably persuades you to drink, with countless gods standing on both sides. You feel that you are extremely majestic, great, and glorious, etc. The reason why you can see these kinds of scenes is because you have self in your heart, and self is still an impurity. You then remember that during the second level of meditation, your basin of dirty water has filtered out the impurities and has become a basin of clean water. But this clear water is by no means pure water, H2O, and there are compounds and plankton in it that cannot be seen with the naked eye. If these impurities are not removed, your pure spirituality, Buddha nature, will still not appear. The purpose of the first level of meditation is to transcend the realm of desire. The purpose of the second level of meditation is to transcend the realm of form, and the purpose of the third level of meditation is to transcend the realm of formlessness. When you have a self in your mind, you are still in the 5 elements, still in the cycle of life and death. So, when you see yourself becoming a king, praised by the immortals, and invited by the Jade Emperor, don't accept it, but run away quickly. Don't look back and don't be reluctant to leave. Run away. Escape. Escape. Flee until everything is gone. Nothing is left, and even you have disappeared. Everything is empty, and you have reached the third level of meditation. At the third level of meditation, you have become an immortal. The biggest feature of this level is a much reduced diet. If you sit in meditation, you won't think about food for 10 or 8 days. Because of the low energy consumption, you don't even need to eat and drink, forming your own small universe system. Even if you live in the height stop area of Mount Everest in the Himalayas, the so-called death altitude area, it won't pose a threat to your life for 2 or 3 months. The highest realm of Indian yoga is the third level of meditation. When you are in the third level state of meditation, whether you are walking, sitting, or lying down, you are in the process of cultivation. You don't need to practice in a quiet place. and you don't need your friends to protect and support you. It's okay even when you wander around downtown. Your body, internal organs, bones, tendons, and marrow chi, blood, nerves, facial features, hair, etc., are undergoing chemical changes. In less serious cases, some parts of your body will become sarira, and in severe cases, your whole body will become adamantine and indestructible. Going one step further, you will reach the fourth level of meditation. At this time, you will have the supernatural power to transform, and you can ascend to the 1,000-year world or the 10,000-year world. After reaching the fifth level of meditation, you have become a Buddha and can ascend to the Elysium world. Since the fourth and fifth levels of meditation are beyond the scope of intermediate self-cultivation and intermediate healthcare, they will not be explained here. The way, virtue, method, and art of nurturing life. Thir-six. The purpose of nurturing life. 2. To maintain health, achieve longevity, transcend the ordinary, and attain Tao. The essence of nurturing life. Nurturing the essence, chi, spirit, form, heart, and nature. The way of nurturing life. Follow the path of the greatest creator, that is, the path of nature, and act in accordance with nature. The virtue of nurturing life. Treat all beings with kindness. Without virtue, it is difficult to nurture life. Benefiting others is benefiting oneself. Harming others is harming oneself. The method of nurturing life. Purify the soul, empty the consciousness, be selfless and formless, and unite with Tao. The art of nurturing life. Maintain regular routines, moderate diet, calm the spirit and quiet the mind, balance movement and stillness, regulate breath to nurture chi, be simple and easy, guide chi to harmony, make the body flexible, have a clear heart and few desires, reduce worries, embrace the yin and the yang, know the masculine but keep to the feminine, treat people with equanimity, handle affairs moderately, meditate on beautiful things, perform many yin deeds, often change spaces, and integrate with nature. A brief explanation of the above content is as follows. To maintain health, achieve longevity, transcend the ordinary, and attain Tao is to cultivate the demeanor of a celestial being and be free and easy. Nurturing essence is to absorb energy, absorb the essence of the sun and the moon, the spiritual chi of heaven and earth, to ensure that the body is half an acre of square pond, looks like a mirror, the light of the sky and the shadow of the clouds linger together. Ask the canal how to be so clear, because there is a source of living water. Nurturing chi mainly nurtures lung chi, stomach chi, liver chi, heart chi, blood chi, essence chi, and spirit chi. Nurturing spirit mainly is to make the spirit calm. The spirit does not go out. Maintaining one's physical form primarily involves using health exercises to achieve a symmetrical body proportion, balanced weight, kind and gentle appearance, and beautiful exterior. The main purpose of nurturing the heart is to allow the environment to follow the heart, to enable the soul to transcend all phenomena, to manifest the heart when events occur, and to empty the heart when they pass, ensuring that no things or phenomena linger in the heart. Cultivating one's nature is the most challenging task. The primary goal is to relinquish human wisdom and intelligence, return to the original intention of the Creator, that is, to achieve the unity of heaven and man. Because the Great Way is exceedingly smooth, and Tao manifests itself in nature, the path adhered to in life nurturing is the path of nature. The virtue of life nurturing lies in benefiting all sentient beings. If you treat all life kindly, all life will reciprocate in kindness. If you harm other lives for your own nourishment, you are violating the virtue of life nurturing. Violating this virtue not only renders life nurturing futile, but it also invites endless troubles. The primary method of life nurturing is to purify the soul. Cleanse the weeds and trash in one's soul garden. Let the flowers bloom and the fragrance permeate. Then, maintain a tranquil mind. Allow your consciousness to be orderly and not chaotic, always in a state of ethereal tranquility. Because only by relinquishing the ego can one realize the self. All phenomena are but illusions, hence, one needs to enter a state of selflessness and formlessness to evolve in accordance with Tao. Tao endures, and so do I. The art of life nurturing belongs to methods and measures. The content of the art of life nurturing is vast and numerous. I mainly focus on the following 18 aspects. Maintain regular routines. The arrangement of work, rest, and living should be punctual and orderly, preferably in accordance with the natural sequence and the structure of the human body. Moderate diet. Don't eat indiscriminately. Don't eat blindly. Eat what you should eat. Absolutely don't eat what you shouldn't eat. Don't overeat or drink, and don't starve or go hungry. Eat meals at a fixed quantity and time. Calm the spirit and quiet the mind. If the heart is quiet, the spirit will be at peace. If the heart is running, the spirit will be swinging. If the spirit does not guard the house, it will be difficult to live a healthy and long life. Therefore, you need to keep your heart quiet, and at the same time, you need to keep your mind quiet. That is, your consciousness, thoughts, and ideas are pure and not mixed. Balance movement and stillness. Movement and stillness complement each other. Pure movement and pure stillness are both detrimental to health preservation. Move when it's time to move. Be still when it's time to be still. You can have a calm mind and active body, an active mind and calm body. Both mind and body can be active. Both mind and body can be still. In short, movement and stillness should be combined and appropriate. Regulate breath to nurture qi. Through conscious breathing regulation, make the breath become more and more relaxed, even, and long. You can also combine it with health exercises. Let the movement and breathing proceed synchronously in order to cultivate qi. Be simple and easy. Make life simple and frugal. Do not pursue luxurious things, so you will not be busy. Not being busy is also a kind of health preservation. Guide qi to harmony. This is a kind of qigong practice, letting qi run smoothly and unobstructed among the limbs, bones, 5 organs, and 6 viscera. Make the body flexible. Do exercises to make the body soft and not stiff. Have a clear heart and few desires. Be satisfied with the present. Be grateful. Be content with circumstances. Do not seek excess. Reduce worries. 3 parts human effort, 7 parts fate. Everything has a fixed number. Health preservation should reduce worries. Embrace the yin and the yang. The invisible is yin, the visible is yang. Rely on the invisible, depend on the visible. Yin supplements yang's rigidity. Yang supplements yin's softness. Adhere to the principle of Tai Chi. Know the masculine but keep to the feminine. Do not show off strength or ability. Water naturally becomes deep. Mountains naturally become peaks. Health preservation should be done in the details. Work hard on the weak. Treat people with equanimity. Always keep calm and peaceful. Do not argue, quarrel, fight, or debate with people. Get along harmoniously with the people around you. Handle affairs in moderation. Do not do things absolutely. Leave room for everything. If you exceed the degree, it is not health preservation. Meditate on beautiful things. Fully use the law of attraction and the principle of visualized thinking to build your own body and environment. Perform many acts of hidden virtue. Do more anonymous giving. Secretly do more good deeds. Change space often. Frequently change your living space. Do not stay in one place for too long. Integrate into nature. Live in nature. Integrate with nature. Health preservation is a learning, an art, a taste, a process of sublimating life. Health preservation is not a stage, but throughout life. Treat everything encountered in life with the eyes and perspective of health preservation. Life will have different levels and realms. One will have the mood of Liu Yuxi's in praise of my humble home. Health preservation first needs to cultivate Tao, then the virtue. After having Tao and virtue of health preservation, you can use the method of health preservation. After understanding the method of health preservation, you can freely use the art of health preservation. The content of the art of health preservation is complex, involving all aspects related to people. Too much emphasis on the art will become a burden and cumbersome. So it is better to use the art to treat the symptoms, self. Nature can generate all dharma. No need to be too defensive and worried. May everyone make love until 99. Live until 120. Holding grudges will surely cause illness. Xiefeng. I haven't conducted any statistics, but I understand the principle that holding grudges will surely cause illness. The human body system is quite remarkable. It possesses self-healing and self-regulating abilities, including a self-activating detox switch and a self-destruction switch. Occasional resentment and hatred are not serious issues. However, if a person harbors resentment and hatred for a long time and constantly complains about various things, it will inevitably lead to changes in the human body system. When complaining, every cell in the human body is in a state of discomfort and lacks energy. Over time, the cells will undergo qualitative changes, and then the most vulnerable part of the human body system or a certain organ will develop pathological changes. The heart, in particular, is most vulnerable to the invasion of resentment, and one's ability to resist cancer cells will decline, leading to stagnation of heart qi and poor circulation of qi and blood. Therefore, never complain all the time. Be open-minded about everything, be optimistic, be romantic. Find more things that make you happy. As long as you are happy, resentment will dissipate, and the body will be healthy. Holding grudges will surely cause illness. This is a common sense I know. Whether it is really so, readers, please observe the people around you who often get sick. See if he or she often gets the sulks, often complains. Let the sacred lamp in your heart illuminate your road in the dark. Thir-six. When you despair and are in extreme darkness, anger and shouting are both useless. It is only by lighting the sacred lamp in your heart that you can illuminate your direction and walk from your mud of despair. The sacred lamp in your heart is your firm belief and faith. If your belief and faith collapse from fear, then you will be swallowed by darkness. When darkness begins to shroud, if you consider your own gains and losses and give up the belief and faith that you have always adhered to, then you will be in the dark. From then on, your soul will have darkened, and it will be a problem for you to wash away that stain. The darker the hour, the more you need to shine. If you wander, hesitate, or even wink at the darkness for self-protection, you might never be able to re-enter the light. Do not approach or surrender to lies, falsehoods, fraud, or hegemony in order to survive. You must adhere to the principle of taking facts as the basis and law as the criterion. Do not listen to the clamor of the media or gossip. Even if people all over the world are lying and cheating, it is supported by heads of government around the world, and celebrities and the well-to-do from everywhere are in high spirits for it. You should keep your bottom line in position. If you die, you should die on the way to the purest land instead of living on the grand road to hell. Your strength might be very weak, and you might not be able to change the overall situation, but at least you should not become an accomplice of the darkness by shouting for it. In order to survive, you could keep silent, but never collaborate with it. If you do not know the facts, keep silent but do not jump to conclusions based on hearsay. Otherwise, when the facts eventually surface, you will regret it and be ashamed. In fact, the light has never been absent. The bank of justice has never closed down. The devil has never defeated God. And the consciences of many people have never vanished. People holding torches advance in succession. Even if it is temporarily shrouded in darkness, you must have the confidence to wait for the day when light will shine across the earth. God looks at everyone's performance from the sky and is choosing which lives will go to heaven. You must remember this soberly, and do not do wrong once, and you will never hear the end of it. You should know that power, material, prestige, media, and public opinion do not represent light. Only those who can make the people of the world live and work in peace and contentment, but never seek their own interests, represent light. If you do not see the light around you, then become it. This is how you will be glorified and lifted up to heaven, and from then on you will never experience death again. Do not have a fluky mind and think that some of your secrets can be hidden. What we say and do can never be really hidden, not even our innermost thoughts. People cannot see hidden things, but the detention information space records everything without omission, and God knows every action and thought of all people very well. People can deceive each other, but they can never deceive God. The darkness will pass and the sun will rise again. Trustworthiness is the quality of high-level life. Thir-six. Credit is the invisible wealth in a person's life. If it goes bankrupt, then the level of their life declines. To measure whether a person's life is at a high level, just look at their credibility. If they are trustworthy, then their life must be at a high level. If they are not, then it must be at a low level. We can judge a person's future accurately from the level of their trustworthiness. If a country's leader does not keep his word, then that country will fall into decline. If the leader of an enterprise fails to keep his promises, then that company will go bankrupt eventually. If an individual does not keep their word, then they will play many small tricks and can never be trusted throughout their lifetime. When associating with people, we should first determine whether they are trustworthy. If they break their promise only once, then we should not trust them any longer because a leopard cannot change its spots, and this person will definitely disappoint you a second, third, and every time. In our lives, we can afford to lose anything but our credit. Once that is lost, our value will be totally lost. Therefore, it is better to lose everything, including your life, than to lose your credit because once you lose that, you will never have much chance of going to heaven. How a person's quality is does not depend on their ability, wisdom, wealth, or status, let alone their looks. It depends on their trustworthiness. If they do not keep their promises, then their quality must be poor. If they stick to their credit, then their quality must be excellent. High-level life must be trustworthy life, but low-level life must be untrustworthy life. If a person is not trustworthy, then their life quality is inferior to that of a dog. Therefore, trustworthiness is one's first line of defense in life, and once it is broken, then their life will collapse across the board. Everything just matches you. Thir-six. Your current situation is the manifestation of the quality of your life. I have observed the states of life on earth and in heaven and hell, and have found that everything is appropriate, with neither rewards nor punishments, and that what you receive now is what you are pursuing and is being caused by what you have said and done in the past. Divine punishments, though slow, are always sure, with big meshes, yet letting nothing slip through. The law of causality always works perfectly. Do not ask for anything because it will not be given to you that way. Ultimate Tao cannot be attained by active pursuit. The only feasible way to achieve your wish is to match the quality of your life with the things you aspire to. If you want to go to heaven, then burning incense and kowtowing to worship the Buddha every day, giving master alms of money, real estate, or gifts will not help. Even if you have built many monasteries and preached the scriptures to many people or have gained magical powers through self-cultivation, none of these things will help you to achieve your goal. The only way to do that is to match the quality of your life with life in heaven. When matched, gods and demons cannot block your way. If not matched, the most noble and authoritative people cannot help you. Do not resent anyone because you have brought all of those people who you resent to yourself, and resentment can only make your life more miserable. Do not say that the law of heaven is unjust. It is fair, but it is your own heart that is unjust. What one has created will return to themselves intact. If you create beauty, then beauty will come back to you. If you create ugliness, then ugliness will stick with you. If you have not seen the image of heaven clearly, if you do not understand the life state of the life in hell, and if you do not understand the books without words, then do not preach to others. What you preach is nothing more than the principles of being a human being, and those preaching cannot sublimate and ascend people to heaven. So from the perspective of a higher level of life, you are doing evil. The more you preach, the thicker and stronger the evil barriers that you create will become. The theory of flies is never suitable for bees to obey, and the theory of sheep cannot stop the wolf from eating you no matter how profound and correct your theory is. In the human world, apart from the teachings of Jesus, Shakyamuni, Lao Tzu, Muhammad, PBUH, and Bodhidharma, no one has ever spoken much truth. So if you think that your own quality, wisdom, and spirituality have surpassed gods, Buddhas, and celestial beings, you can preach as much as you like. If not, closing your mouth is tantamount to accumulating blessings for yourself. Otherwise, the more you preach, the more harm you will do. Do not defend your wrong words and deeds because the more you defend them, the more unreasonable you will appear. Never imagine that your wrong words and deeds can be hidden. The hidden things are displayed to their fullest in heaven, which God see clearly. The only way you can correct them is to repent, and repent more. Do not expect to get something without paying. If you gain much without paying, please do not be complacent. It is speeding you to hell. If you want to go to heaven without creating beautiful things in this world, I want to tell you that it is your delusion. You should never forget this story. On the afternoon of August 26, 2016, Yang Galen poisoned her 4 young children and then herself. Soon after, her husband followed suit. In light of this story, if you still think that years of stability are good, that my country is amazing, that the 21st century will be the century of the Chinese people, and still think that the Chinese nation will lead the world, then let me tell you that you are continuing to create Yang Galen situations. You are the culprit responsible for what happened to her family. You should think about the helpless and hopelessly poor people in the world every day. If you do not have compassion or mercy and do not want to do something for them, but feel that they deserve what they have and think about yourself all day long, then you are not qualified to enjoy a good life and your soul is not worthy of heaven. I am warning you again, do not pursue magical power, qigong, magical law, or Taoist magical arts. Otherwise, 9 out of 10 of you will be possessed by the devil, lose your balance, and become schizophrenic because magical power and Taoist magic arts will corrupt the program of the world. Let us listen to the teachings of Christ Jesus again. Those who recognize the world find a walking corpse, but those who find the walking corpse transcend the world. A beautiful life is composed of people whom you trust. Thir-six. If you have 100 people you can completely trust, then your life is the most beautiful, regardless of whether you are rich, powerful, or famous. If you don't have a single person worthy of complete trust, then your life is the most pitiful, no matter how wealthy or powerful you may be. Complete trust means you are willing to entrust your life to them, willing to take on any responsibility and obligation for them, willing to hand over your wealth to them without any doubt, and willing to share your innermost secrets with them without fear of being harmed. So, how many people do you have that you can completely trust? I thought to myself, in secular society, if a person has 3 to 5 people they can completely trust throughout their lifetime, it is already quite remarkable. Just imagine, the more people you completely trust, the larger your world feels, the more secure you feel, the happier you are, and the more optimistic, confident, and romantic you become. Conversely, if you have few or no people you completely trust, you may feel anxious, perceive constant threats, feel helpless, be pessimistic about the future, and view life as a bitter journey. Can you find and encounter 100 people worthy of complete trust throughout your life? I can confidently say that relying on money, power, fame, seduction, or status will never lead you to find people worthy of complete trust. In fact, it may lower the trust others have in you. You cannot be certain about how those around you, including your worldly relatives, friends, and others, truly feel about you. If you doubt this, try handing over all your wealth to someone and see what happens, or give them your bank card and password for safekeeping and withdrawal. If you hesitate, it proves that you don't truly trust them, or at least not completely. So where can you find 100 people worthy of complete trust? Only on the way to heaven can you find 100 people worthy of complete trust. Not only 100, but even 1,000 or 10,000. I have come to this realization and assertion because I have found over 100 people whom I can completely trust. I can confidently place my money in their pockets without any doubt. I can confidently put all my assets under anyone's name without worrying that they will claim ownership. When I have over 100 people I can completely trust, I myself become insignificant. Working hard and creating wealth for those I trust becomes the greatest happiness and pride of my life. Dedicating everything, including my life, to those I trust, I feel great. Any hint of selfishness makes me feel ashamed, as it would be a betrayal of the Almighty and a betrayal of life itself. From this, I have discovered a secret. The more people we have whom we can completely trust, the closer we are to heaven. Conversely, the fewer people we have whom we can completely trust, the closer we are to hell. The naked will be one with me. Thir-six. You should always show your beauty to the outside world because when you show your troubles, pain, misfortune, melancholy, resentment, and your other ugly sides, you will not be beautiful, but rather ugly. When all people show their beauty outwardly, the world will become more beautiful. When they show their ugliness outwardly, it will become more ugly. Beauty attracts beauty and ugliness attracts ugliness. Passive, negative, and pessimistic emotions will only attract more people, things, and events of the latter. Do not expect the garbage from your mouth to attract phoenixes. When God comes to you, be naked. The more magnanimous and naked you are, the more you will be favored and protected by God. When you hide something, you cannot be one with God, and God will stay away from you. When God approaches you, be only grateful. God knows your needs. The less you ask for, the more your needs will be satisfied. The more you ask for, the less they will be satisfied. When God comes to you and tells you which way to go, but you ignore and do not abide, then you will never be guided again. You should learn to surrender yourself. When you meet God, surrender everything you have completely, which is full integration. Full integration is oneness with God, unification with God, and you will also become a God. If you try to hide anything in the face of God, thinking that it will not be known, then you are the stupidest person in the world, because God knows everything. The most beautiful things are for the most beautiful people, and the ugliest things are for the ugliest people, but do not beg for beautiful things. Instead, make yourself beautiful. When you are beautiful, beautiful things will naturally come to you. Whatever happens, you should first consider what you can give. In this way, you are connected with the sacred and noble. At that moment, if you consider what you can get first, then you are united with lowliness and you will never be noble. There are no worries or pains in heaven. If you have worries and pains, then you have nothing to do with heaven and you will never reach it. There is no marriage in heaven. Once you marry, never expect to reach heaven. You should learn how to play and amuse yourself, and do not talk about great principles all day. The more you talk about great principles, the more you will be hung in the air and will not taste the joy and happiness on the ground, nor will you taste the delicacies in heaven. Do not preach to others the truth that you do not understand. It is all rubbish. Where there is light, there is no darkness. So if you feel darkness, it is because you are not living in light. Do not doubt that the ones who bring you joy, happiness, freedom, and blessings, and make you feel relaxed and happy are angels from heaven. The ones who bring you troubles, pain, anxiety, sorrow, and fear, and make you feel sad and anxious are demons from hell. Anything that can be valued and bought with money is not of heaven, and anyone who values money is not a life worthy of heaven. In any group, do not stand out for your exceptionality or make yourself conspicuous, or that group will eventually abandon you. Glamour belongs to celebrities, but real happiness belongs to ordinary people with great wisdom but who appear slow-witted. Do not try to reason with people who do not understand reason, or try to make cats and mice get along well as a family. Do not believe that anyone can help all sentient beings before they can handle their own affairs well. Either they are digging a trap for you, or they are out of their mind. Instead of listening to what people say, it is better to see what they do. What comes out of their mouth might deceive others, but what they do will not. A prayer for those suffering from illnesses. Thir-six, Almighty Ancestor of Buddha, the greatest creator, once knowing nothing about Tao or virtue and muddle-headed, I am crawling at your feet, crying and confessing to you today. I have been sick for many years and my life is not going well. I finally realized the truth that divine punishments, though slow, are always sure, with big meshes, yet letting nothing slip through, reap what you have sown. And minds are the most important of the three realms, and consciousness is the most important of all rules. It is that one's consciousness creates their reality, one's diseases are caused by their wrong consciousness, and one's wrong outlook on life and values leads to the ups and downs of their life. This has nothing to do with heaven and earth, God and Buddha, or society and others, but is closely related to one's past karma. Those who resent their society and others, who always believe that they themselves are right, and who never seek out causes from themselves, will inevitably suffer from illnesses and endure bad lives. Beloved ancestor of Buddha, the greatest creator, fragrances attract butterflies to flowers, and consciousness flows freely when your heart is at peace. Birds live in trees and fish swim in water. Different environments attract different species as different mentalities attract different health and living conditions. Often being angry and resentful causes diseases, and being jealous, aggressive, selfish, and greedy leads to an unsatisfactory life. Active, optimistic, and positive attitudes will invite better lives, but pessimistic, passive, and negative attitudes will invite tragic lives. I have deeply understood this truth and now have a clear consciousness, a calm feeling, a stable mood, and a tranquil mind. I have a premonition that miracles will happen to me, the disease will leave me gradually, my health will recover, my rough and unsatisfactory time will end here, and a new and beautiful life will start now. Ancestor of Buddha, the greatest creator, you are the only master of the universe, the source of life, the birthplace of wisdom, and the guarantor for a better life. I will forevermore follow you closely, be grateful to you, and never be far from you or abandon you. Without sources of living water, rivers dry up. By leaving you, diseases will be ridden and life will not be smooth. I sincerely pray that you will allow me to be your servant, Even if only a blade of grass in your garden, I would be most happy to be such. I pray for your fulfillment of my wish that your warm light will always shine on me, and your gentle breeze will always blow on me. All darkness will stay far from me, and no misfortune will visit me again, because I will be bathed in your spiritual light. I firmly believe that your boundless compassion will dissolve all my misfortunes and the shadows that hung over my heart. From this point on, my life will be as sunshine in the breeze. Beloved ancestor of Buddha, the greatest creator, through the dawn I have seen my bright future. The 1,000-year world, the 10,000-year world, and the Elysium Islands continent beckon me. Everything there is so very beautiful and peaceful. There is no fighting, killing, seizing, or robbing. There are no disasters or suffering, no sorrow or fear, no worries about food, clothing, shelter, transportation, birth, illness, aging, or death. No one possesses anything, but everyone owns everything and lives happily, joyously, freely, and blessedly every day. Flowers will bloom, birds will tweet, and radiant and enchanting spring days will never end. That this is my future, I am fully confident without the slightest doubt. Starting today, I will move closer to the kingdom of heaven with each step. Almighty ancestor of Buddha, the greatest creator, as long as I am with you, boundless miracles will happen, all my illnesses will disappear, and my unhappy situation will change quickly. I pray that you will continue to bless me and invigorate me with energy. From now on, I will no longer get angry at or resent others, and will no longer wander or be discouraged or depressed. I will deal with people with a positive and optimistic attitude, cultivate a generous and open mind, and pursue perfection bit by bit. Under your guidance and protection, I will cultivate towards a better state to embrace my new life and future. O ancestor of Buddha, my heart is Bodhi, my roots are deep, my leaves are lush. I am free and at ease, without worries, anxiety, fear, inverted dreams. Spiritual light illuminates my universe, and the Dharma body covers my world. My mind is clear, my consciousness is pure, and the light of my nature is perfect and full of vitality. Auspiciousness follows me, and luck comes to me. Prosperity is wherever I go in this world or in heaven, and all is in harmony. You lead in heaven, I walk on the earth, and the distant shore is closer. I will travel by day and night, and all my wishes will be fulfilled. Amen. Escape the array of affection. Thir-six of the 36 8-diagram arrays. The most difficult one to escape from is that of affection. Everything has affection. All beings have affection, and affection is the rainbow and the best condiment of life. If the sky is affectionate, then the weather will be favorable. If the earth is affectionate, then the grain will be abundant. If people are affectionate, then life will be auspicious and warm. If things are affectionate, then spring forest will abound. Affection is like salt in food. With too little, it will taste dull. In excess, it will be too salty. But if in moderation, then and only then, its flavor will shine. Happy lives are not unfeeling, but must not be trapped in affection. To be unfeeling is worse than to be a beast, but to be trapped in affection is worse than death. Affection can nourish people, but it can also torture them. Once people are poisoned by affection, they will become perverted. They will act like neither humans nor ghosts, but will be unreasonable, hysterical, and maybe even lose their minds eventually. Sort out your mood as you lie in bed. What is the most worrying thing in your life? What has tormented you the most recently? What is the hardest thing for you to give up? What depresses you the most? What concerns you most deeply? What do you want to maintain the most? What do you want to end the most, but are unable to? The answers are always affection. The affection between immediate family members, lovers, friends, classmates, masters and apprentices, teachers and students, comrades in arms, and so forth. Any special relationship that you establish with anyone else will entangle you and might make you worry for your whole lifetime. It will wrap you tightly within it and make you restless for your entire lifetime. This is the array of affection. Can you escape from this array? The array of affection is also the net of affection. Look at fishing nets. People cast their nets into the water, and any fish that enter it and cannot escape will be yanked out of the water and become meals on people's plates. Standing in heaven and watching the world, everyone looks like fish in nets. Those who cannot escape from their nets will become delicacies on the devil's dining table. Do you want to escape from this net of affection? It is hard to do so on your own. To do this, you must rely on the power of authority and the guidance of gods, Buddhas, celestials, and saints, especially the divine powers of Jesus Christ and Buddha Shakyamuni, and the roadmap of the guide. There is very little chance of escaping from it if you try your own way blindly. The most difficult nets to escape are the parents' and children's nets. Who can abandon parents' and children's affection, and are they not monsters if they do? Would they still be human? So, if you do not rely on the power of authority, then you cannot and you will not escape. The second most difficult net is the one of couples' affection. Now, more and more people are not marrying, which means that they can escape from the nets of couples' affection. Many people escape from nets of couples' affection by divorcing. More couples who are sticking to it want to escape but are reluctant to leave or find it hard to escape. In this case, they need the roadmap of the guide even more. The next most difficult one are the lovers' nets between boyfriends and girlfriends, which are also nets of affection that make people enjoy each other so much as to not want to leave each other and be willing to go through fire and water and hurl themselves into flames willingly. Life's joys, sorrows, bitters, and sweets are induced fully in this net of affection, like raging fires moving the earth and frightening heaven. In these nets of affection, most people are unwilling to escape. They will even risk their lives, go to hell, and fight for victory in a flash moment. Even with their heads broken and bleeding, their livers and gallbladders smashed, they will fly desperately like moths into flames. As long as there are people with whom we care about, with whom we miss, and with whom we want to maintain our relationships, we are in an array of affection. Until the day when we have nothing to care or worry about, with our minds abiding nowhere, our affection filling mountains and rivers, when we always long for the celestial islands, take things as they are, associate with others by following predestined relationships, act in accordance with our natures, and take advantage of opportunities as they arise, then we will not have escaped from our net of affection. How will you feel after escaping from your array of affection? It will feel like a frog crawling out from the bottom of a well into a pond, a wild horse stuck in silt returning to a prairie, a bird flying out of a cage into an idyllic forest, or a pig jumping out a pig pen and becoming human. The easiest, most direct, effective, and thorough way to escape from an array of affection is to become a Chanyuan celestial and live in the new oasis for life. From then on, you will no longer establish any special relationship with anyone else, especially by establishing a special love relationship with a member of the opposite sex. From then on, you will follow what is predestined, be open, leave things to fate, be free and unfettered, and enjoy life whatever it brings. When the wind blows through a clump of scattered bamboo, it makes a swishing sound, but as soon as it passes, no sound is left behind and silence reigns itself once more among the bamboo plants. When geese fly over ponds in winter, their reflections are seen on the water, but as soon as they move on, their reflections vanish. Do not be nostalgic for that illusion and do not miss the passing clouds, but fix your eyes on the celestial islands of the Elysium world. Trek and climb. Enjoy the scenery all the way, never stay and be obsessed with any beautiful scenery. Never let anyone impede your pace forward. Everything will work itself out and you will ascend to the fairy world as it happens. 8 diagram arrays. The array of affection. Xiefeng. What in the world is affection? That it inspires beings to vow to accompany each other in life and death. Travelers flying together from south to north, their old wings enduring the cold and heat. Joy and sorrow. Parting is painful. Among them, there are even more infatuated men and women. You should have something to say. Over 10,000 miles of layered clouds, 1,000 mountains with evening snow. For whom does the lone shadow depart? Yuan Haowin, Moyuer, Goose Mound Lyrics. First verse. What is affection? The weaver girl descends to the mortal world to marry the cowherd. The white snake transforms into Lady White to marry Su Xian. Meng Jiangnu travels thousands of miles to search for her husband and weeps at the Great Wall. Du Shenyang angrily sinks a treasure chest. Romeo willingly drinks poison. Zhu Yingtai willingly jumps into a grave. The stories depicted in books are just the tip of the iceberg. For thousands of years, the world has witnessed countless tragic stories of affection, where affection is so deep, It's like a cliff of broken hearts, and longing consumes the jade-like skin. In the end, the soul is shattered at the end of the world. Secret affairs, elopements to distant lands, sacrificing one's life for affection, dueling for affection, accumulating debts for affection, committing murder for affection. All these lead to chaos, destruction of homes, and the demise of people. What's the point of such fervent affection? Brilliance fades, regrets last a lifetime. Speechless before the heavens, only hatred and shame remain. Besides romantic affection between lovers and spouses, there is also affection between father and son, mother and daughter, father and daughter, mother and son, siblings, confidants, friends, comrades, classmates, masters and disciples, teachers and students, hometowns, etc. These constitute the web of human affections, the sea of affections, and the array of affections. Many people live and die for affection. Once affection is lost, people feel lost and aimless, wandering souls on the verge of collapse. What exactly is affection? That people vow to each other in life and death, suffer insomnia from lovesickness, persevere through countless hardships out of deep affection, spend their entire lives without regret, risk their lives in desperation, or engage in illegal activities. Affection is a kind of non-material energy that is embedded in the non-material structure of life to maintain harmony in family, society, fairyland, and humanity. Life must have affection. Without affection, life will perish. The greatest creators have affection. Celestial beings have affection, birds and beasts have affection, trees have affection, and even demons and monsters have affection. The more abundant and richer the affection, the closer it is to heaven. The more impoverished and barren the affection, the closer it is to hell. The broader the affection, the closer it is to heaven. The narrower the affection, the closer it is to hell. Affection is a series of 8 diagram arrays, with gods having divine affection, demons having demonic affection, celestials having celestial affection, humans having human affection, monsters having monster affection, ghosts having ghostly affection, beasts having beastly affection, birds having bird affection, trees having tree affection, grass having grass affection, and flowers having flower affection. Thus, it forms the levels and steps of life, the heavenly net, and the heavenly array, binding each level of life to thrive and flourish in their respective spaces, orderly and disciplined. Consciousness, structure, and energy are the 3 elements that constitute the universe. Nature, love, and Tao are the 3 great treasures of life. Nature is the characteristic of structure, love is the characteristic of energy, and Tao is the characteristic of consciousness. So, what about affection? Affection embodies all 3 characteristics of consciousness, structure, and energy. Affection not only has the components of consciousness and structure, but also contains the essence of energy. In other words, affection is the need of consciousness and structure, but its essence is a kind of energy, an essential non-material energy needed by consciousness and structure. Therefore, affection is closely related to nature, love, and Tao. As long as there is nature, there is affection. As long as there is love, there is affection. As long as there is Tao, there is affection. Conversely, without nature, there is no affection. Without love, there is no affection. Without Tao, there is no affection. For human life, affection is like salt. If affection is too weak, life is tasteless. If affection is too strong, life is bitter. To elevate oneself to celestial being, one must escape from the human affection array. Without escaping human affection, one cannot enter divine affection. Without entering divine affection, one cannot become a celestial being. How does one escape the human 8 diagram array? In short, abandon human affection and seek divine affection. Specifically, diminish parental affection, deepen the affection for the ancestor of Buddha, the greatest creator. Diminish the affection for siblings, friends, deepen the affection for the universe, all things in nature. Diminish the monogamous affection between men and women, deepen the predestined ethereal affection of the fairyland. Diminish the affection between master and disciple, teacher and student, deepen the affection for Tao, the truth.